Friday indeed here on Ben and Woods. Welcome in, everybody. Wrapping up the week here. And what a baseball team that we have. What a baseball team we get to cover and talk about all day. Thank you guys for being here. I see the chat is already filled with people. If you haven't followed us on YouTube, you should do that. You can watch us and, see what we're wearing, all the latest trends and things like that. We're always trying to dress up and bring the heat every single day on the YouTube chat. Just go to youtube.com, search Ben and Woods. And it's a pretty cool little community that we've built in there. People are very active, and most people, I'd say 95% of the people in there are very nice. Now, some people will not be, and that's okay. Whatever makes you feel better, all right, I guess. I'm Woodsy. That is Adam Clug, our fearless leader. And all I see is the top of his head. I can't see any. There he is. Hi, buddy. Good morning.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I am doing excellent.
You seem a little frazzled. I'm not going to lie.
Why do I seem frazzled?
I don't know, but you always seem frazzled. I need a calming influence is what I need in here.
I need a better bedside manner?
A better bedside manner. Yes, it's exactly right.
There's just a lot of things I got to go through to prepare for the show.
It's a lot, yeah. It's a very, very busy show. Paul Reindl is out. He might be listening right now. He's sitting at the terminal at San Diego, Sky Harbor, and he's waiting to board his flight to the Bavarian village in Washington.
Leavenworth, Washington.
Leavenworth,
yes.
That's right. And he's
I assume he's flying to Seattle and then has to drive from there.
To Leavenworth, yeah. Benjamin Higgins.
Good morning.
Your friendly neighborhood sports anchor joins us as well. Hello to you.
Hello. It's the old George Carlin bit. I mean, you really want to eat at a place called the Terminal Snack Bar? Doesn't sound good for sure.
Why is it, though, when you go to it, I can eat breakfast before a flight at home. Then I get to the airport, and there's something in my brain that says to me, you better eat. Because, A, it could be your last meal. B, you could be stranded. You could be sitting on the tarmac for hours. I always overspend and overeat at the airport before I go anywhere.
You're not the only one. The lines in the morning,
Bananas.
like at, the coffee place, are nuts at the airport because people feel like, what if I don't get a chance? What if we're sitting on the tarmac for 2 hours?
It's the tarmac, right? That's what scares.
That's the scary thing. Like,
So
they'll let you on the plane and then they won't let you off.
Yeah, and I'll overstuff before I get on the plane just in case we end up, getting stuck out there and can't take off or whatever. Welsh FRIAR says, I always got to get the airport beer. I'm not great with the airport beer. I'm really not. I don't really drink at the airport or on planes. I don't know why. I just don't like that feeling of. I don't really like flying anyway. It really doesn't do anything to calm my nerves. But I don't know, man. I always end up buying way too much stuff at the airport. In fact, I forgot to tell you guys this. We flew out to Hawaii last week or whatever, and I was not super comfortable on the way out there. Now, the plane was fine. I had a good seat. Like, everything was good. But I had one child on either side of me. So the entire 6-hour flight, I'm looking this way, craning my neck left, then craning my neck right. Oh, yeah, no, that's how you write your name for 6 hours. And we did some workbooks. They watched some iPad on the way out. But I'm craning my neck the whole time. So I thought to myself, well, I'm going to buy one of those neck pillows that I see everybody wearing because I don't have one. Do you have one?
I used to. I do not have one anymore because I found that they just don't work that well.
So I go to the gift shop in Kauai to get one. And I no joke on this flight. I'm going to get settled in. I'm going to have my neck pillow and be good. So there was a $20 one, and it was the micro beady one.
Yeah.
And then there was
That's the kind I used to have.
Okay, so then there was what looked really, really nice. It was $51.
Ooh, the upgraded version.
So I guess which one I went with.
The upgraded
Of course
version,
I did.
Yeah.
Now I grabbed it. I went up. Hannah goes, "You're getting that one?" I go, "Yeah. I mean, it's more money, so obviously it's better. Clearly, you're not. I mean, right? If it costs more money, it's better." So I go up. I get it. Well, I didn't test it. I get on the plane and I put it on, and I'm a bigger guy, but I don't have a big ass huge neck. I put this thing on. It barely. There was a snap, and if you snapped it, it was like wearing a noose. So the first time I snapped it, I was like, I tried to lean back. Then I found this, whatever it was covered in, really gave me an irritant.
Chafe?
Yes,
Chafe?
chafed the innards of my neck. And so I ended up using it for about 6 minutes on the flight home. And then what I did, Ben, I wedged it between my knee and the side of the plane so that my knee wouldn't be rubbed raw against the side of the plane. So I spent $51 for a knee guard.
Did they just have the two options? Because you got to be careful. I've read about this before. It's for instance, like when you go to a restaurant and they have bottles of wine at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So oftentimes people will most likely order the second least expensive bottle of wine.
That's the bit.
Because ordering the least expensive one makes you look
El Cheapo.
cheap.
Yeah.
So people then will go, okay, well, this one's $32. I'll get the $37 so I don't look cheap. So actually, that's the one that is the biggest markup on the wine list because they know that. So they will maximize their profit on the second cheapest bottle of wine, knowing that more people will order that than anything else on the menu because they're afraid to look cheap by ordering the cheapest one. So sometimes, like maybe with neck pillows, they'll just charge more for no reason, knowing, people won't want to get the cheap one, so let's make a cheap one and then charge more for it, and people will pay it thinking they're getting better quality when they're not. You're actually maybe getting the worst quality wine when you get the second least expensive wine on the wine list.
Well, all I kept thinking about on the plane was how good would those micro beads feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have just gotten
I should have just
one.
gotten the cheap one. But I was afraid you just get the $20 one. It's going to split open. There's going to be micro beads everywhere. I figured I'd get this $51 one. It'll be great. My neck was raw. Like I have some facial hair. I can't shave because the Padres aren't losing. So I was going to clean up the beard today. I can't. I don't want to mess with a streak.
Rally Roach, Rally Beard,
all of it.
What else?
Right? Just kiss the roach. I didn't want to mess with the streak this morning. I said, I can't shave this. I can't even clean it up. I just got to let it roll. And that's kind of how I felt. Man, my neck is it's still irritated and raw from that stupid neck pillow. So hopefully Paulie travels a little bit smarter than I did. But yeah, I saw so many people on the plane and they were sacked out and they looked so cozy and comfortable. I go, I got to get one. And it didn't do much for me at all. Not even a little bit. So I did not know that about the wine.
That's something to know. Now, if you want to go and get something nicer, go ahead. You can probably find actually decent deals on the upper end of the wine list. Now, you're spending more, but you're probably getting a much better bottle of wine. But if you want to go with a less expensive bottle, go with the cheapest one. It's probably the least markup. They want to have that option, but they know people don't order it because they don't want to look cheap.
But like you said, you look cheap. You do. When you buy the $22 bottle of wine, you look cheap. And your wife's she's also glancing at the wine list as you make your selection.
Well, once you tell her, though, did you know that the cheapest bottle of wine is oftentimes better than the second or third cheapest bottle of wine? I know this.
And she'll say, that's just something that cheap people say. We got Craig in the chat said, let's talk Padres, Craiger. 3 hours and 51 minutes, buddy. I'm telling you, you will get your fill. There's Paulie with the sarcastic, get to the sports talk. Padres win again. They win again. And it was just the stupidest game again. They are the most stubborn team in Major League Baseball. They literally refuse to lose baseball games.
I'm not used to this as a San Diego sports fan. I am not used to, even over a 3-week stretch, essentially, of having my team just randomly find ways to win or having other teams actually just give us games on a silver platter, and we just take them. Like, okay, all right, we're trying to lose these last couple of games, and you will not let us lose.
I want to give you one. Let me give you one.
We'll just take it. All right, fine. If you're going to give it to us, we will eventually take it as a win.
Man. Bro,
I'm liking it, though. I really am. I'm liking this spot that we're in right now, where the team just rolls out there and finds a way to win in many different manners.
Turb44 in the chat says the Pirates did their best Padres 23 impression. I was at that series against Kansas City last year where we just handed the Royals, that I think it was a sweep by the Royals. We get swept by the Royals last year, which was the one that really kind of put me over the edge. I was at the games. We kicked the ball around so much. We just handed them those games on a silver platter. And the Royals last year were not like the Royals this year. And I can just vividly remember going, good God, man, does anybody want to win a baseball game today? And to see them go out there and win that game yesterday, well, you guys saw it. I had to watch it later. I can tell that story when we do our Padres wrap-up at 6:35, but it happened again to me yesterday. If you follow me on Twitter or X, whatever.
I saw this.
It happened again.
They won the first game in Kansas City 4-0 and then lost
No, it was here.
Here. That's right, here.
Yeah.
Won the first one 4-0, then lost the next two by 1 run each.
Brutal.
5-4 and 4-3.
Just brutal games last year. So, man, I don't feel bad for the Pirates at all, not even a little bit, because of the way that things transpired in the series. I was pretty hot yesterday when Pro got hit again. We'll talk about all of that. Might I say this? Finally, someone on the San Diego Padres took it upon themselves to say, enough is enough. I'm going to protect a guy that is 1,000% been a superstar this year in Jurickson Profar. Profar leaves that series beaten and battered, getting hit 4 times, and there's no excuse for it. I understand pitching inside, but man, at some point, like I think Mike Shildt said it yesterday, enough's enough, man. Enough is enough. So if you can't control it, you maybe shouldn't be pitching right there. And that's he got beat up, man. He got beat up this whole series. But I'm very, very happy to be able to come in here today and talk to you guys and you two especially about what went down yesterday. It's just another crazy game that shouldn't have gone our way but did.
Well, I saw your tweet, so I wanted to ask you about what happened when the game was getting down to the nitty-gritty. And once again, Woodsy wasn't there for it. Had to watch it later. So I'll ask you about that. We'll set the menu coming up in our next segment. Should be a good Friday. Of course, it's a FRIAR Friday. You know what that means. Mike Shildt sitting somewhere, maybe in a hotel room in Miami.
Yeah.
Just waiting, eagerly anticipating our conversation this morning. I mean, it's got nothing bad to talk about. So
not a damn thing.
Should feel pretty good coming into our conversation today after the week they just had.
Yeah,
so
one would think, yeah.
That's 9 o'clock, though. We got a lot before that. We will set the menu when we come back. Get you ready for a Friday Ben and Woods edition heading into the weekend. We got Bald Reindl, Adam Klug here, and should be a good one. Don't go anywhere. Kelly's got traffic, and we are underway now on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Happy Friday, everybody. Come on. All right, take two. Happy Friday, everybody. It is Woodsy if you're
telling me that once again you did not see a Padres dramatic ending due to your therapy session again? That's
Correct.
what I got from the tweet. So what happened yesterday?
Well, remember the last time?
Yes.
So my wife and I go to marriage counseling every 2 weeks, right? Just a little check-in, keep the lines of communication open. It's a really good place to go.
Valvoline instant oil change for your marriage.
That's right. You go in, hey, check in. What's he doing wrong? What's she doing wrong? It's nice.
Courtesy check of the tires.
That's right. That's great. It's been amazing for us, and we really love our therapist. She's great, and so we go in. Now I'm watching the game at home, and the kids were great. They were playing. I really had time to watch the game, and I was hoping, what time did the game start yesterday? It was
9:35.
9:35. Sessions at noon. So I'm like, it's gonna be a little close.
Getaway day. Hopefully they play a quicker game. Yeah.
So I get most of the game in. And we get there, and I'm watching on my phone as we wait. We're 15 minutes early, so I'm watching on my phone. And I get to the point of Aroldis Chapman against Manny Machado.
So Padres down 1 in the 8th.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, whoo, here we go. Payback. Here we go. Come on. Well, then the door opens. It's time to go in. And I'm like, ugh. So I sit down on the couch in the room, and game's still on. I go, I better turn this off. And I turn it off. Now, the last time we were there, Dylan Cease threw a no-hitter.
Correct.
And I missed it because I was in there, which, again, that's my main priority in life. It's my marriage and my family. Not upset about it at all. But I'm looking at this thing going, I wonder what's going to happen. It doesn't look good right now. I did see Manny K, and I went, oh, crap. This is going to be a bummer, man. 4-0 lead in the 6th, and we can't hold on. That sucks. So we do our counseling. It's great. All of a sudden, towards the end of the session, my phone sends me a notification, Padres win 7-6. I looked at her, and I go, they did it again. And my therapist started laughing. She goes, yeah, something happened the last time you were here. I go, yeah, he threw a no-hitter, the second in team history. And I said to her, I go, all right, now this is weird. I said, but if they make the playoffs, can I sleep on this couch? And she said, yeah, you're more than welcome to. I said, because if they make the playoffs, I'm moving in here. And I will watch games.
So rally roach,
there.
rally beard, rally therapist couch.
Whatever. There's something about that room that's magical. And so I missed it again. So then I go home and I click on channel 83 or 87, whatever it is, and it's doing the Padres music, and it's just the logo screen. And then I see that they're replaying it at 7. And I'm like, well, I saw some highlights and stuff, but I wanted to see how it really unfolded. So my ass up last night at 9:45 watching the
replay,
the 8th and 9th inning again, just to see how it all went down. And I just can't believe it at this point, man. I just can't believe it. It's just incredible what they've been able to do. That's 5 straight for the
First of all,
fellas.
Why don't you just record all the games, and then you can watch them back at your convenience?
It's probably a good idea.
There's plenty of DVR space or in the cloud or whatever nowadays.
Hold on. Plenty of DVR space is a myth when you have 2 kids that record every episode of Bluey. My wife records every episode.
Max it out at like 10 for them. They're fine.
You're probably right.
You'll figure it out.
You're probably right, but I couldn't believe it, man. And I just looked down. I didn't want, I want to pay attention. I looked down and I went, oh my God, they won 7-6. I can't believe it, dude.
Well, first of all, you might want to schedule a new therapy appointment to tackle your crippling addiction to superstitions that you have that are going to start being a problem if you keep adding on. I mean, not everything can be the reason the Padres are on a winning streak.
The roach,
the beard, the therapist's couch. What else are you going to throw in there? Second of all, maybe the Thursday morning appointment when the Padres often play their East Coast games. Now, I don't think, do they have any more? I know they're off next Thursday. You may be out of the woods at this point when it comes to the Thursday early games going forward.
We go every other week.
Yeah, which in every other week they've been on an East Coast road trip on Thursdays for the last month or so. So you've kind of locked yourself into the possibility of missing some Padres games there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, I'm just going to continue to do what I need to do, but there is something magical about that space, clearly, because the last 2 times we had this incredible comeback victory. We had a no-hitter from Dylan Cease. And, yeah, your boy missed both of them, but I did go back and and check my work after and watch the game, and it was spectacular.
We will talk about it coming up, setting the menu for you on a Friday. Our Padres wrap-up, as always, hits you at 6:35 or so as we go through yesterday's 7-6 win, the early ups, the middle downs, the late thank you Pittsburgh Pirates up at the end. 7 o'clock hour, take on Woods. I also want to bring up the other great game I watched yesterday, that Team USA Serbia men's basketball game. I don't know if you caught any of it. It really was.
Hold on, what did you say?
Did you catch any of it? No?
I don't know if you caught any of it.
I don't know if you caught any of it.
I was watching.
I texted you to turn it on, though. It was a really good game.
No, you guys were texting about what a great game it was. I was watching Mets-Rockies is what I was watching because I wanted to see if the Rockies could help us out.
It was like a 10-1 game.
And of course,
but 4-0 after 4 batters.
It was at Coors Field.
You watched Mets-Rockies instead of one of the best international basketball games probably that has ever been played. You are obsessed, man. There are other sports. I love baseball too. You have a problem. Maybe a therapist session about your crippling addiction to bad baseball games as well.
I'm more into baseball than the Olympics too.
It just doesn't do any. It just didn't do anything for me.
I'm not obsessed with the Olympics. It was truly a fantastic basketball game yesterday.
I heard it was great.
Lots of drama. Really exciting. I guess I'll just talk about that by myself while you guys go and hit the water cooler for a couple of minutes. Have some Eco Water SoCal. Take on Woods at 7:10. Chance to qualify for trip to Resorts World. Carry Underwood tickets. Don't do this at 7:20. I do want to get into, you mentioned it, Jurickson Profar and the response from the San Diego Padres. Also, I got into a bit of a Twitter war with, I don't know why. I do this once a year.
What the hell?
Responding to Dodger fans, but I wanted something that was posted to go. I didn't want it to go unchallenged, so I challenged it. My mentions turned into an absolute zoo last night. I had to pretty much stop looking at the mentions with all the Dodgers fans that were upset with me, but we can talk about comparing the impact of injuries in Major League Baseball.
They are so nervous right now. They're so nervous. And how could you not be? How did and I'd be lying to everyone listening right now if I said, oh, yeah, I knew we'd be 2.5 out. And nobody. Everybody thought what would you have guessed the lead would be right now?
10.
10, 12, yeah, 100%. And it's 2.5. So, holy cow. I don't blame you for getting in there. Feels good sometimes.
So I got in there, talked a little bit with Dodgers fans. Second half of the show on a Friday. It's a Grand Old Barbecue, Cespedes Family Barbecue Friday. Jake Mintz is his turn this week. We'll talk to him at 8 o'clock. A Clug Report should come your way at around 8:35.
Yes.
See what Adam brings to the table this morning. And then, of course, the Manager's Report with Mike Shildt at 9 o'clock. And then get you ready for a weekend in Miami against Skip Schumacher's Miami Marlins. Team of Destiny. They're not as bad as you might think. I mean, they're bad.
They're bad, but
they're beating other teams at least regularly enough that you're going to worry about this series as well. That's all I can say.
There's not going to be a series for the rest of the year that I'm not going to be nervous and sick about.
Yeah, because,
just so you know.
Because they're in a really good spot right now.
Yep.
All right, we'll come back with our Padres wrap-up next with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I mentioned the YouTube chat this morning when we started and how you get to see what we're wearing. Now, you look at Adam, he's got just a normal black polo shirt on. I've got a normal blue polo shirt on and my AI Smoke Callaway hat. Your shirt, though, very cool. A new merch item from the Ben & Woods merch store, which you can check out. A little election year. Ben & Woods 24, San Diego's choice. And I like the color, too.
Really
looks sweet.
I really like this shirt a lot. Paulie did a great job getting these things up. And it's really comfy, and the color's fantastic. So, yeah, that's about as much as we'll wade into the election. But Ben & Woods 24,
yeah,
San Diego's choice.
It's ben-woods.myspreadshop.com.
Just put the thing in.
It's in our link. It's in our bio.
Just,
you can find it. You can find it on our social media channels. But go ahead, grab one for yourself while election season is underway. All right, we've got our Padres wrap up, all the highlights of yesterday's yet again dramatic win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Get to that right after Kelly's traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. Just a couple problems here, guys. One of them is a collision on northbound 15 before University. Everything is over to the right shoulder. And in the North County, westbound 56 before Carmel Country Road. An accident involving a couple vehicles. One's in the center divide and the other one over to the right shoulder. In peak wildfire season is a last resort. SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh, my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben & Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! Yeah! It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. Yeah!
Give me a do damage.
Do damage!
2-2, the pitch. Machado swings, hits it in the air to deep left field. De La Cruz is back. He looks up. This one gonna go! 2-run homer, Manny Machado. And the Padres strike in the first inning. Profar a big clap as he rounds third. Little peek at the Pirate dugout. And Machado an awfully slow home run trot as the Padres take a 2-0 lead. Here's the 0-1. Peralta swings, sends it in the air, deep down the right field line, aiming for the pole. This one is gonna go! Home run, David Peralta. Took aim for the Allegheny River in right, a 2-run shot, and freight train time here in Pittsburgh as the Padres double their lead 4-0. Bay, left-handed batters, grounded out twice. First pitch swinging, ground ball through the left side, and a base hit. De La Cruz rounding third, he's going to score. RBI single, G1 Bay, and a 1-run game here in the bottom of the 6th. Matsui ready, the little lefty delivers. And a ground ball tapped to the left of the mound. Manny charging it, goes to the backhand. Throw to first is in time! Matsui jumps in the air, spins around, and high-fives Machado, who just made a gold glove play to finally bring the 6th inning to a close. He is running, and the 3-2 hit in the air to left center field. That's way back. Joey Bart sends it towards the gap and gone. A 2-run home run over the 410 sign in left center field. The Pirates lead for the first time today. And now 1-0 to Higashioka. The pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to the right side. To his left, Kiner Falefa has it. It's his second one. Cruz to first, throws it away. Bogarts had already scored. Now Merrill will come in. The Padres go in front. It's 6-5. Higashioka at second, 2 down. Here's the 3-2. Arai swings in the air to deep right center field. Bay was shallow. He's got to go back. It's going to be over his head and rolling up against the wall. Higashioka scores easily. An RBI double for Arise. And the Padres add on. It's 7-5. Friolo big lead at first base. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Suarez slams the door. And the Padres will sweep the Pirates for the first time here since 2011. They will take out their brooms and swab the decks as they hold on for a 7-6 win to cap an absolutely Clooney. 3 days here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, grit squad strikes again. Just hunger for competition, hunger for winning games. I can't say enough about it. On display. It's on display at the end of games, but it's just on display the whole game, which makes it special too.
Make it 14 wins in 16 games. 5 in a row for your San Diego Padres.
5 in a roach.
5 in a roach for the San Diego Padres, who are the hottest team in baseball. Even the Diamondbacks lost yesterday, so they are red hot. Look back before we talk about this game. Padres, the first day after the All-Star break, you remember what happened? They lost 7-0 to the Cleveland Guardians fall back to 500.
I was on vacation then, too.
That's true. So since then, they've picked up 12 games above 500, going from 500, going 14-2. So now they're 12 games above 500. Keep that in mind, because if the Padres simply played 500 baseball the rest of the season now, they would finish with 87 wins, 87-75. If they just play 500, which would be quite a bit worse than they're playing right now. 87 wins, I believe, has been good enough to make the playoffs in the National League every single year of the 3 wild card era. Not saying that it will or won't this year, but history has said that 87 has been good enough to get in the National League. So the Padres are clearly on track to where they want to be. Now, we've seen them collapse at the end of the season. We've seen other teams collapse. There's no guarantees here, but you don't even have to keep playing anywhere near as well as you're playing right now, and you should be in good shape. So that's how important these last 3 weeks have been. For the Padres to go from 500 to now 12 games above 500 changes the entire complexion of the rest of the season. The entire complexion of going forward. Now, you're looking and staring down the Dodgers, just 2.5 games back in the National League West, and you're thinking, can we win a division title? Can we get a bye in the first round? The playoffs are simply don't mess up at this point.
Yeah.
And you should be a playoff team based on just what you've done over the last 3 weeks.
It's remarkable. It really is when you think about it. It's remarkable. And the last roundtable I think I was a part of, we talked about the road trip that they were about to embark on to Cleveland and then to Baltimore and all these first-place teams and all these huge roadblocks in the way, and we're all making these deals with ourselves. If we could just win, 1 in that series, that'd be pretty good. And 2, what they've done since the break is spectacular. And I think the other thing to notice is every single player on that team is contributing. Everyone is doing something to help them win a ball game. Every single guy, right? Freaking, even Bryce Johnson's OPS is like over 1,000 in his last, whatever, like in the limited time he plays. Made a spectacular, he had a terrible dive the other night, but he made a spectacular catch to start off the game. Everybody's doing something right now. It's not just one guy carrying the team or 2 guys carrying the team. It's everybody.
Yeah, and it feels like it's a different guy every day.
Correct.
It's David Peralta a few days ago. It could be Manny. It could be one of the stars. It could be Tyler Wade one day. It's not going to shock you if anyone steps up and becomes that guy for that day. And the Padres just continuing to absolutely roll. Yesterday, of course, Manny Machado got him off to a really good start, making him pay for hitting Jurickson again with the 2-run home run in the first inning off Luis Ortiz. It's not the first time, of course, Manny has made a team pay. Washington Nationals remember it well. His 18th of the season. And somewhat quietly, although getting a little bit louder, Manny has become Manny. And I don't know exactly when the switch got changed. I think if you go back to now, like late May, he actually has a 934 OPS. So the switch definitely kind of flipped. It took a while to
that's weird what happens
flicker a little bit on and off. It hasn't been a run that has not had some slumps. He had one just a week or so ago, but for the most part, Manny is back to being Manny, and it makes such a huge difference in their lineup.
No question. And the defense, I mean, it's when a guy is able to get healthy, and again, so many people were on him for wanting to post and play. It's the only way he knows how to do it. And Ryan Cohen's in our chat. Shout out Ryan. He said the play from Manny yesterday and the throw from Jackson Merrill 100% saved that game, and he's absolutely right. Manny's defense has been pretty spectacular. I know he mixed in an error in there the other day and cost him a run. He ended up getting it back, using his brain to do that and his baseball IQ. But yeah, man, I'm really impressed with everybody. Xander Bogaerts deserves a ton of credit for the way he's played. Jackson Merrill, obviously, you can't say enough good things about him. Jurickson Profar continues to be the heartbeat of this team. But holy cow, man, it's really refreshing to see guys picking each other up and guys being able to flush it when something bad happens and rebound and go out there and say, so what? And we're going to get this back. And the Grit Squad's a great name for them. All I think of when I watch this team is just the word stubborn. That's it. They're stubborn. They're really, really stubborn and refuse to lose, and it's really cool to see.
Within the grand scheme of things, we're talking about a small sample size, right? We're talking about 16 games?
Yeah.
10% of the season, but it's the way they're winning. Have you allowed yourself to recalibrate or change your expectations for this team based on this 10% sample size, or is it just it gives them a cushion to play, as Ben laid out the record, for what they'd have to do the rest of the season? Does it change things?
No,
16 games.
What it's done for me is, and I don't know if it's a personal thing or if it's just more faith in the team. I don't get as when we get down, I fully believe. Oh yeah, and Manny talked about it. I think with AJ Casabell yesterday, and he goes, I can't quantify it. I don't have the words for you. I'm not a writer, right? And he says there is something different, but I really can't put my finger on it other than we are playing for each other. We're picking each other up. So he says, and they've been saying this all year, we just try to put ourselves in position, in good positions. And if we do that, it's going to come in our favor a little bit more. More things are going to even out for us if we just keep putting ourselves, getting guys on base, taking an extra bag, whatever it may be, moving a guy over, if you will. So they're putting themselves in those positions. They don't win every game. But, man, the more they can get themselves in those positions where something could happen, the better off they will be. And they've been absolutely right.
I think the answer to your question, Adam, of whether it changes your perception of the team or it's just a good, 10% stretch, expectation.
Squeaking into the playoffs and now expecting it, and you talked about the World Series
The answer is kind of both, because the best teams in baseball don't play well all the way through 162 games. They do this. They have long stretches where they're right around 500, and then they get hot for a 3-week period, and they pick up 10 games to 500. And then they play 500 ball or so for a while, and then they maybe have another one where they pick up another 10 to 15 over a month because they played really well. And all of a sudden, they look at the end of the season, and they're 26 games above 500, which would be like 94 wins, and they're winning the division, or they're getting the top wild card. That's how baseball works. There's no team that just wins 2 out of 3 every series all the way through the year. So the Padres finally had it. They just never had it last year. They never had that run where they could push themselves forward that we were expecting. Now they've had their run this year. They don't have to, as I said earlier, they don't have to play out of their minds now to make the playoffs. They can play 500, feel pretty good about their chances of getting in, but if they keep winning series, and they got 46 games left.
Yep.
So win 2 out of 3, essentially go 30-16. I saw Ray said that's the target score the rest of the way. That would get you to the 94 win mark. Will that be enough to
bananas?
Will that be enough to beat the Dodgers? I don't know. Might be. Might not be. I'll take it. I'll take it, though. I'll take my chances if they could get to 94. That would be playing winning series baseball the rest of the way. Not as good as they've been playing the last 3 weeks, but still really solid, good baseball. That target is very much in play, I'd say.
Well, I'll tell
for the
you,
Padres.
I mean, it's weird because after this run they've been on, it's going to be jarring the next time they lose a game. It's going to be like, wow.
It was jarring
right?
last Friday when they lost a game to the Rockies. But it's going to happen.
Of course it's going to happen. They're not going to run the table. But when I'm watching a game now and it's 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 in the third, I'm not biting my nails. I'm really not. I'm just interested to see, okay, are they going to stick to what's been working? And they really have. You're not seeing guys, honestly, try to do anything differently than what they've been doing all year that's been working for them. Again, major shout out to all of the people involved. I'm always going to give the players the most credit, always. But the buy-in that they've had with Victor Rodriguez, I don't know much about Victor Rodriguez, but I do know this. He's the best hitting coach that we've ever had in since we've started covering this team. Why? Because their offense is capable of punching somebody in the mouth when they need to, and capable of stringing hits together and putting the ball in play, not striking out a ton. Credit. And credit to the players for buying in, and credit to Mike Shildt for having them ready to play. Credit to A.J. Preller for making some really savvy moves. There's a lot of credit that needs to be divvied out. But also, I do have in the back of my mind, like every baseball fan in a 162-game season, oh, God, what happens if somebody goes down? What happens if, you lose 6 in a row? Of course it's feasible. Of course it is. So it will be jarring the next time they drop one.
But it does feel different. In past years, when something happened, like what happened yesterday, a 4-0 lead, it's down to 4-3, and then Joey Bart hits that 2-run homer.
You think it's
when you're
over.
just trying to get through the bullpen, when the bullpen is kind of spent, you go, it's over. It's
over.
done. That's
Last year, I'm turning the TV
crushing
off
home run
every time.
Yesterday, I didn't even bat an eye. I go, this team's fine. It's just one run. It's fine.
Now, remember, they lost that game if O'Neal Cruz throws the ball on target in the 9th inning. And it would have been okay. By the way, it would have been okay had the Padres lost that game.
So mad. Blowing a 4-run lead. I know the bullpen was taxed. I would have been pretty hot about that.
You've got to understand, though. I was watching the game with my son, and they were up 4-0, and they got to the 6th inning, and Randy Vasquez had pitched really solidly the first 5. And I said to him, though, this is the most dangerous inning of the game. Before anyone had even reached base, I said, this is the 3rd time through the lineup. Mike Shildt is trying to get Randy Vasquez through at least 6, maybe even into the 7th because of his bullpen. But if he gets into trouble here, they're probably going to have to go to Carl Edwards Jr. because, well, they have Jason Adam, they have Robert Suarez, but they had 5 relievers down. And Mike Shildt said that after the game. So they're going to have to go to the guy that they activated before the game. And I've got no idea if he can get major league batters out or not. They're hoping. He looked decent in the minors, but there's no hope here. This could be a big inning for the Pirates. If I'm the Pirates, I'm circling this inning as my best chance to get back into the game. And they did. And it wasn't a surprise if you're watching that game. So Manny made the great play with Yuki Matsui when he came in
what a play
to get out of that inning. But then that caused, then Yuki's got to come back for a 2nd inning after having pitched the day before. We know that that's not his strength to do both of those things. So I wasn't shocked when he gave up a home run in that situation. And by the way, Yuki's been really good.
He has been
good. You were asking a lot of guys in that game, of Carl Edwards, of Randy Vasquez, of Yuki Matsui, just to get you hopefully close late in the game. And thank goodness they were, because they had a chance to still end up winning it in the end. They were in position to take one that was handed to them. That's all you're really looking for in a game like that when you've spent your bullpen so heavily the first 2 games of the series. Perfect. Great.
I mean, I had no problem with him going to Carl Edwards Jr. at all. I really didn't.
I saw Padres fans who were like, what is Mike Shildt doing?
No, I had no problem with it, man. What did you need? An out?
You needed 3 outs. Yeah, I don't think Randy Vasquez
didn't get any outs in the 6th?
Any outs in this. Maybe he got 1. I think
he had 1.
He had 1? Okay.
Yeah, so he had a wild pitch.
I know Carl didn't get any.
Yeah, wild pitch, 2 walks, and a hit. And, it is just... It's unfortunate. And I saw people that thought Carl Edwards Jr. was upset about being taken out of the game. No, he was upset because he got called up to the big leagues and did not execute at all, not even a little bit. And that's tough. It's a tough look for him.
He did get the 2 out. So Carl just needed 1 out. And he couldn't get it.
Yeah, he needed 1 out. And I with a 4-1 lead, I absolutely expect him to be able to get an out. And he didn't. And so then you get punched in the mouth and you have to do some things you didn't want to do.
All right, we can continue discussing that game. We've got Take on Woods coming up in our next segment as well. Lots to get into here on a Friday. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. What's back with you, 7 a.m. on a Friday. And while, yes, the Padres were fortunate in that O'Neill Cruz threw that ball away and they ended up scoring the go-ahead runs, they were also very, it was putting together that rally and loading the bases against David Bednar in the ninth inning was good work. Yeah, Xander got a little dribbler, which was lucky, but Jackson Merrill's at-bat was the one that really impressed me.
Staggering.
Knowing he had just hit a home run off that guy the day before, and being a 21-year-old rookie, I can imagine the instinct would be, all right, I'm going to come and do it again. Guess what? I'm the go-ahead run. This guy on in front of me, I'm going to put another good swing on this, and I'm going to hit another home run. And it was chess because David Bednar, an all-star reliever, is out there going, all right, he got me yesterday.
Not this guy.
He's going to be aggressive here, so I'm going to try to throw some balls just off the zone. Maybe he was missing, but I kind of tend to think he was being careful with Jackson Merrill.
He absolutely was being careful with him.
Assuming that a young 21-year-old is going to be overly aggressive in that situation.
Expand the zone, all of it.
And one of the most mature at-bats you're ever going to see from a guy that age, just spitting on, you know what, those aren't my pitches.
Not my pitch.
I'm not going to swing at those.
Yep.
And there were some borderline ones that Bednar didn't get the call on and wouldn't have wanted to see Jackson Merrill try to hit one on the outside corner, up at the letters in that situation. Those are the pitches you're supposed to take. He took his walk, and ultimately he ended up scoring the go-ahead run because he took a 4-pitch walk when he was supposed to do that in the ninth inning.
I don't know that we fully understand it either, but I don't know that the common fan in that situation knowing, I barreled this guy yesterday. If he throws me a heater in the zone, I'm going to attack it. And maybe even if it's just a little bit up, maybe I can still get to it. For him to be able to go in and just go, no. His heartbeat, Ben, must be like 60 beats a minute. It just doesn't really happen for a rookie at this pace that it's happened for Jackson Merrill. I'm just so impressed every time I watch him play baseball. The way he backs up the outfielders, the way that he throws the ball, the way that he gets to balls, the way that he hits and takes his singles and still has power. And it is pretty remarkable to watch that kid.
He's up to a 289 average and a 787 OPS, which is very impressive as a rookie. The one thing that he could do a little more of, the OBP is 320.
Yeah.
A little more walks like we just saw,
sure.
But I feel like that's going to come.
That will come.
Rookies generally, the OBP is the thing they're going to struggle with the most their first season. Everybody's a little over-aggressive, but you're seeing that patience. You're seeing the development just right in front of our eyes with Jackson Merrill. It's so impressive what he's doing.
Again, I've had a lot of people ask me, Crony's struggling a little bit right now. I've had a lot of people ask me, why not flip-flop them in the order? Look, it's hard to mess with 14 out of 16. It just is. Yes, that's something that I think if you're the skipper, you think about. If you're A.J. Preller and your holistic approach with the lineup, I think you maybe think about it someday. I don't know that day is today. I don't know when it is. But yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense in my head, but we're not playing MLB The Show here. He has a spot. He's pretty consistent in it. You need balance throughout the lineup as well. And I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't move him up in the order. But right now, like I said, it's hard to argue with 14 out of 16.
Well, he's kind of the anchor of the bottom of the order, which has been very productive.
They've been great.
Now, you could do that and move him up. But then all of a sudden with Kim, who's also been struggling, now you kind of have a bit of a black hole in part of your lineup.
Listen, let's say you just flip-flop Crony and Merrill, the two lefties.
Yeah.
Right? Merrill slides into the 3 hole and Crony goes down to the 6, 7, whatever. It's not the worst idea I've ever heard. Cronenworth probably wouldn't care. It's one of those things where it's like, I think that he could do it. I think we all know he could do it. I don't think he really cares where he hits. And maybe that's something to think about down the stretch, Benny, or in a playoff game if you get there. But right now, man, 14 out of 16, it's hard to nitpick things about this team.
I also feel comfortable saying Jake Cronenworth's going to have a few more big hits for this team going forward.
100%.
And if today was Jake Cronenworth's day, we just said it's bouncing around to everybody. Wouldn't shock me. A little worried about Ha-Seong Kim and his struggles at the plate, which seem fairly pronounced. He gets his walks, which is good. But other than that, I'm just not seeing great at-bats from Ha-Sung Kim lately.
Yeah, I mean, same. Listen, it is what it is. These are the cards that were dealt at this point, and right now, they're hitting a lot more blackjacks than they are anything else. So,
one other observation before I get to it, I want to throw out the phone lines for Take on Woods. We're going to play here in about 4 minutes. 833-288-0973. Chance to win a trip to Las Vegas and Carrie Underwood tickets. Give us a call now, 833-288-0973, and challenge Woods in your musical trivia game for the day coming up here. So I heard Chris Ello talking about this, and I had the exact same thought. So the Padres get their 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning, and that insurance run, the RBI by Luis Arraez, was huge, obviously.
Massive.
When Robert Suarez comes in and gives up the run. Now, there was one of the dumbest baseball decisions I've seen in a long time by the Pittsburgh Pirates and Joey Bart in that 9th inning when he tried to stretch a single to a double.
Oh, yeah.
And you're down by 2 runs.
Yep.
If I'm Derek Shelton, the manager of the Pirates,
you could see it,
livid.
dude.
I like livid. He could have been easily out. Had that ball been held on to at second base, he would have been out. The game would have been over for no reason whatsoever.
Right.
Because his run doesn't mean anything. You're down by 2. 2-run homer to tie it. You can score at first just as well as you can from second. And by the way, the Padres probably would have just let him take second on defensive indifference on the next play.
100% they would have.
And yet he put himself in jeopardy. It really is shocking that even a young Major League Baseball player like Joey Bart couldn't read that situation and go, unless I'm 115% sure I'm going to make it, you don't go to second in that situation.
What do you think about the O'Neill Cruz throw? Because I watched it too, and
I thought originally that Higashioka was going to beat it out because it was hit so slowly.
But slowly.
O'Neill Cruz has such a cannon. The ball got there before Higashioka. I think had it been on target, the game's over. So you got to try to win the game there.
That's fair.
I think you don't. You say, he should have just held on to it and kept the tie game and had a chance to win it in the bottom of the 9th. You get one more out, but I think you go for it there with that kind of arm. He just didn't execute. And you're a big leaguer, you got to execute that throw.
Yeah, he's got 22 errors. He's still kind of learning the game at that level. I mean, he's a pretty interesting player. 6'7" shortstop with crazy power and a hose for an arm. He's a fun player to watch. But yeah, I'm really glad he threw that one away yesterday.
So Padres will visit the Miami Marlins tonight, and it was announced after the game. They'll just remain on rotation turn going through this series with Martin Perez today, Matt Waldron tomorrow, and then Dylan Cease on Sunday in his normal spot, even though he only threw an inning because of the rain delay in his last outing, which likely means Joe Musgrove will return from the injured list, I would think Monday against the Pirates back home at Petco Park. So that wasn't officially announced, but the next 3, just normal. There's a lot of TBAs for having absolutely no changes to your starting rotation on this road trip. They've just gone through like they have normally gone through, at least until this point, going through the Miami series. That is a 4:10 first pitch today. Sammy with the Eco Water SoCal pregame show at 3:10. Edward Cabrera, right-hander, going to be on the mound for the Marlins tonight in Game 1 of that series. All right, I see some callers on the line. Let's get to it. It is time to take on Woods.
It's time for Take on Woods.
Take on Woods. Take on Woods. Randomly, I'm going to go with John. John, welcome to Take on Woods. How are you?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. All right, we have 3 categories for you to choose from. If you can beat or tie Woods, you'll be in our grand prize drawing for 2 nights at Resorts World Las Vegas. Pretty spectacular resort. And 2 tickets to Carrie Underwood, her residency at Resorts World Theater, August 14th through October 26th. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com and RWLasVegas.com. Here are your category choices today, John. We've got The Afterlife, 5 song titles and artists, including the word after. Sprechen Sie Deutsch, 5 bands or artists who made it big around the world with German roots or Germany kind of related. And then Still Dreaming, 5 more song titles that include the word Dream. We had one of those earlier this week. So the afterlife, Sprechen Sie Deutsch, or Still Dreaming? John?
Try Still Dreaming.
Still Dreaming. All right, 5 more song titles. Again, all including the word dream. You'll have 60 seconds to get as many as possible. And then Woods goes. If you beat or tie him, you're in the drawing. First question is the 2-second song. Adam has a little music to play for you. You need to give me the title of the song and the artist to score that point. John, are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
Adam, you're good? All right. Remember, the category Still Dreaming. Dream the key word here. Your time begins when Adam plays the music. Good luck, John. Let's take on Woods. Correct. Tom Petty references the Del Shannon song Runaway in the lyrics.
Running on a Dream.
Correct. Which 2004 Green Day hit begins with the line, I walk a lonely road, the only one I have ever known?
Pass.
The music video for which 1988 Billy Ocean hit was considered cutting edge at the time for its mix of animation.
Caribbean Dream.
Incorrect. A former member of the Edgar Winter group, Dan Hartman, had his only top 10 solo hit with his
Dream About You.
Correct. Which 2004 Green Day hit begins with the line, I walk a lonely road, the only one I have ever known?
Can we go to the one I missed?
No, you already missed it, unfortunately.
Oh.
It's like Jeopardy.
Okay.
You don't get a second bite at the apple. You know what you did wrong. I know you did.
Yeah.
It's all right. You got 3. Any guesses on Green Day?
No.
All right.
I don't know the titles in the...
That's all right. A little newer one. Yeah, you said Caribbean Dream. It's Caribbean Queen. It's Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car is the Billy Ocean song I was looking for. Boulevard of Broken Dreams is Green Day. You got the other ones, Dreamweaver, Running Down a Dream, I Can Dream About You. Let's hold on, John, and we'll see if Woods can come back with the score of 3 to beat here. All right, Woods, John's score is locked in. Woods doesn't get the category. Makes it a little bit tougher for him. See how he does on this one. Let's put 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Adam plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on John.
Dreamweaver by Gary somebody. I'll come back.
All right. Tom Petty references the Del Shannon song Runaway in the lyrics to which signature song from his first solo album in 1989?
Runaway. Pass.
Which 2004 Green Day hit begins with the line, I walk a lonely road, the only one I have ever known?
I'm blanking right now. I'm choking so hard. I'm on Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Correct. The music video for which 1988 Billy Ocean hit was considered cutting edge at the time for its mix of animation and live action.
Get out of my dreams, get into my car.
Correct. A former member of the Edgar Winter group, Dan Hartman, had his only top 10 solo hit with his 1984 song for the movie Streets of Fire.
Ooh. Pass.
All right, go back to the 2-second song. You need the artist.
Gary something. I don't know. Pass. Gary Taint.
Tom Petty references the Del Shannon song Runaway in the lyrics to which signature song from his first solo album in 1980.
Running Down a Dream.
Correct. Let's go back to a former member of the Edgar Winter group. Dan Hartman had his only top 10 solo hit with which 1984 song for the movie Streets of Fire?
No idea.
All right, that's a tie. That's 3-3. Congratulations, John.
Gary.
It's not wrong.
Gary.
Not wrong.
Gary Wright.
Gary Wright.
Damn it. Oh, yeah! All right.
Good job, John. And then the last one was I Can Dream About You.
Oh, I Can Dream About
I
thought that was John Parr.
Apparently it's Dan Hartman. So, John, hang on the line. Whew. Adam will get your information for the drawing for Las Vegas. Congratulations on Still Dreaming.
Good job.
Good job today. All right, Don't Do This is coming up next.
I've got a do this that we missed yesterday that made me so very, very happy.
It was a good moment from the Padres broadcast this week that Woodsy would like to highlight.
I listened to it 100 times. It actually made its way to Reddit yesterday. It's so good. We'll play that for you next. You have a Don't Do This?
Yeah, I'll figure it out for you. Don't worry. I've got a depressing story that I would like to maybe not do.
No.
So
All right.
We'll just see what we end up with. After Traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
What a tease.
Don't Do This, brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. I am so jealous that Paulie got to go this week. It looked delicious. He posted it on the Instagram feed of his fish taco, the Dorado fish taco, and the bulgogi taco that he had. Check out those tacos at thecrafttaco.com. Look at their happy hour specials today at thecrafttaco.com. All right.
I'll get us started.
You want to
buddy.
get started with the audio from the pot? We have that?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm going to get us started in Don't Do This. Got a tweet from one of our Tier 1s, El Carlos, the real El Carlos on Twitter. Pirates broadcast casually calling Jurickson Profar unprofessional. So as we mentioned earlier in the show, Randy Vasquez came out and hit Brian Reynolds on the calf. It was calf or thigh? It was
Thigh, I would say.
Yeah, it was kind of
Got him just
side,
above the
just
knee, yeah.
below the knee. I just watched it.
Was it below the knee?
Right
Oh,
below
calf,
the knee,
okay.
so kind of on the calf after Jurickson Profar had been plunked a couple times in that series. Ended up getting plunked 4 times. Listen to how the Pirates broadcasters spun this one.
Right at the knee.
Yep.
Retaliation.
The same spot.
Yep.
Wow. Hit
Man,
almost
and-
exactly the same spot as yesterday.
Reynolds doesn't react at all.
Hey, he did,
Nothing,
yeah, he
just,
did.
Well, he looks out there.
He
but
looks out and gave him a little head nod.
Yep.
And like, okay, we're even now.
Yep. Didn't throw the helmet. Didn't
And
jump
now-
up and down. Didn't go far.
Walked down the line. In fact, he walked over, picked up the ball, gave it to the bat boy. So here you go. That's
a pro.
That's Reynolds right there.
Settle.
That's what he does. He's just
Settle down, guys. Settle down with the. That's how a pro does it. That's what a pro does. I think Jurickson Profar took 95 basically to like the patella. There was no meat involved in that one that he took when he took 95 to the knee. I think that was probably the most. He wasn't. I really don't think he was mad at the pitcher. He's mad at the pain and threw the helmet like son of a. This hurts, right? And again, yeah, Brian Reynolds probably knew that was coming. I thought it was done in a really the right way to do it, I guess. But I didn't really like them kind of roundabout taking shots at Profar, not calling him not a professional.
Well,
the guy got
I mean,
dotted.
They didn't say it, but they implied it. If you couldn't see the video, you're not on our YouTube stream. When they're talking, then they just casually cut to Jurickson Profar in the outfield, kind of implying what they're saying. Brian Reynolds did handle it well.
He did.
There's
He
no
absolutely
doubt
did.
about that. But so did Jurickson Profar.
Absolutely.
He got hit again. What did he do? He
Smiled.
He
Yeah.
smiled. That's all he did.
That's it.
A wry smile. Like, are you guys kidding me?
Yeah.
Four times in this series you've hit me?
4.
But if anyone wants to, I mean, it was pretty clear. Randy Vasquez, and we're not sure about any other instances this season, but that one, knowing that Brian Reynolds is their 2-hitter, just like Jurickson Profar is the Padres 2-hitter, put it right in the same spot. I mean, like dotted him in almost as they said, the exact same spot.
It was like a dart. It was like throwing.
It wasn't
a
to lead
dart.
off the inning. It was 1 out, so
Yeah.
you weren't like putting the leadoff runner on. It was a message, and it was a message sent, received, and they did move on. Now Profar got hit again.
He did.
That one was
Back
kind
foot
of a
slider.
back foot slider type thing. That was just like, okay, this is almost comical at this point.
Well, and just quickly, this is pretty amazing. Shildt said after the game, they're pitching him tough. We don't feel like there's a lot of intent, but it gets old after a while. He took exception with it, as I did as well. But anyway, we move on. He's a tough hombre. But I loved what Randy Vasquez said. He said it's a beautiful relationship, a beautiful friendship that we have. He is someone that since I got here, he's always encouraged me, helped me, and really kind of encouraged me to never hang my head. He's a great teammate, and I promise you, Jurickson Profar certainly appreciated that from Randy Vasquez yesterday.
All right, we're getting late in the Olympics, and after a couple of weeks, there's just enough opportunities for people to get into trouble. This one happened in Paris, not with an athlete this time, just a spectator. A famous spectator, rapper Travis Scott, was at the luxury George V Hotel early Friday morning when police were called to break up a fight. Ooh. The fight was between Travis Scott and, I guess it was a hotel security guard. But apparently, according to police, the security guard was trying to break up another fight between Travis and his own bodyguard, who had gotten into a fight at the hotel as well. So now Travis Scott is fighting 2 security guards, and this all comes just as charges were dropped against Travis Scott in another case in Miami for getting into a heated argument with a yacht worker back in June. So now he's facing charges in Paris, just the ugly Americans in Paris, a couple of incidents during the Olympics. I'm pretty much ready for it to be done.
Yeah, me
Got
too.
the gold medal games in basketball and soccer coming up, a couple more big track and field events. Had the big story about Noah Lyles and the COVID, running with COVID, and getting the bronze medal yesterday. 2 weeks is a long time for me. I'm good. It was fun. Let's move on now.
Yeah, I'm ready. When is it then?
Sunday is the closing ceremony.
All right, we'll look forward to that, Greg. All right, and then now for do this. That's your
DD Mega.
No.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
Wasn't sure.
I got to give this to Don Orsillo. Watching this game, I forgot to mention it yesterday. It made its way over to Reddit. Don Orsillo makes a lot of great calls. This one got me laughing so hard. Mud as well. You guys probably know the play from a couple of nights ago. Gonzalez on the mound for the Pirates and Manny Machado at the plate. Manny hits that little squibber, and Gonzalez tries to make a play on it, and this kind of slipped out from Don Orsillo.
Roll down the third baseline. The pitcher, Gonzalez, little stumble. His throw is terrible. It's right at first. And Manny will reach. That was an honest assessment. It's not good.
Why was it so funny? Because it was a terrible throw. It was just honest.
So
but
good.
Usually he'd say the throw is offline. Throw's offline. And
throw is terrible. Play it again, please, Adam, please.
It's not like it was the easiest play to make, obviously.
No.
He was falling away and, trying to make an insane play, but it was just so far away from being anywhere near the first baseman that Don had. I mean, he had to point it out.
Play it again, please.
Here it comes.
Roll down the third baseline. The pitcher, Gonzalez, little stumble. His throw is terrible. Right at first. And Manny will reach.
Mud's over.
That was an honest assessment. It's not good.
He got me so good, man. Yeah, he always gets me, but that one for some reason just sent me.
So you're probably wondering, well, why don't we hear more of that from broadcasters? Just some brutal honesty. Because I'm sure Don's worried, even for an opposing team.
Of course.
That the player's going to hear it, then he's going to go down in a locker room one day and they go, hey, heard you said I made a terrible throw. And it's like, well, you did, dude. I mean, it was a terrible
Buddy,
throw.
I think you could defend that. Mud said that he had an interaction with Kyle Higashioka the other day in the lobby. He said, Higgy, I owe you an apology. And Higgy, why? What happened? And he said, I think he said he boxed the ball
All
or something.
the knuckleballs from Matt
yeah.
Waldron. It's just he was having a really tough day catching him the other day. I think he was like, it's fine.
He's like, bro, I don't care.
It's tough. It does look comical when he's trying to catch those knuckleballs and just waving his mitt back there with no idea where it's going.
But, I mean, you can totally tell that kind of slipped out from Don Orsillo, and it was really, really good. That is don't and do this on a Friday.
That
I just
was
said
Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
It was Ben v. Dodgers fans last night on social media. I try not to wade into it, but
Nice that the shoe was on the other foot.
I waded into it this time. We'll talk about that. We also have some Padres Pirates tickets to give away before the end of the show for Monday's game. Stay tuned for that. And Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue at the top of the hour. A busy Friday, all leading to our manager's report with Mike Shildt at 9 o'clock ahead with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Very happy birthday to one of our most loyal and dedicated Tier 1s. He goes by Articulate Sailor on Twitter. You may remember him if you played in the Ben & Woods Open this year. He flipped a golf cart. So he's the guy that flipped the golf cart. You knew about that, yeah?
Yes, I did. I was trying to keep it as much under wraps as possible because, I'm going out to the GOAT today, and I don't really want that getting around that one of our Tier 1s flipped one of their brand new golf carts.
Yeah, it was an accident.
Got the GPS and everything, the coolers, really nice
Accidents,
golf carts.
accidents happen. It was not a drunken display yet. Later in the day it was, but when he flipped the cart, he was stone cold sober. I can vouch. It just caught a curb and flipped over. But happy birthday to Articulate Sailor.
Happens to share a birthday with a member of the Padres organization.
Sure does.
But maybe we'll just keep that under wraps for a little while.
You don't have to. You can just say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our 9 a.m. guest, manager Mike Shildt, is also celebrating a birthday today.
Happy birthday.
How old is Mike Shildt?
It's a great question. Is he older or younger? Okay, he's older than me and us. Well, I'm older than you now.
Well, I knew he was older than us.
51. 56.
56 today.
Okay.
Yeah, 56 today.
Happy 56. I have heard through the grapevine he's not a huge birthday guy, which doesn't surprise me a lot. And actually what I heard was he really likes other people's birthdays more. So he's the opposite of my wife.
He's like Boomer Esiason that way.
Yes.
Loves other people's birthdays.
Other people's birthdays. So happy birthday to the skipper.
All right. Well, I waded into territory I probably shouldn't have waded into last night.
Well, hang on here. Cole Schmidt. Happy birthday to you, Cole. Happy birthday, EST3 in the chat. All right, there we go. Got all the birthday shout-outs done.
All the August 9th birthdays in the world now taken care of. I waded into Dodgers Twitter last night. It's not a pretty place to be, but just felt I had to do it. I'll tell you why coming up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Folks are doing a pretty good job of staying out of trouble, guys. No incidents, no accidents, no surprises on our roads, meaning, of course, you're still going to see the usual slowing in the usual spots, but at least nothing getting in your way. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I saw this tweet going around from a Dodger fan named Jake, and he's not, doesn't have a ton of followers, but it was retweeted a couple of times and made its way into my timeline.
He has a humiliation fetish, just by the way, like of posting tweets.
Well, and nothing he tweeted, I believe, was inaccurate. So I want to start there. I believe he's absolutely correct when he tweeted, the Dodgers have $114 million worth of payroll on the injured list right now, LMAO. Yes, that's the highest in baseball by a lot, and the next highest is $72 million. Astros. Difference between the Dodgers and the Astros is bigger than the difference between second and 16th.
Yeah, why did this ruffle your feathers so much?
Well,
because your feathers don't really get ruffled.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't directed at the Padres or anything, but it just bothered me a little bit that no one really seemed to care all the years where the Dodgers were taking advantage of other teams' injuries and, having fairly healthy seasons. And now all of a sudden that the shoe is on the other foot here, they're looking for sympathy because none was offered to other teams.
Especially us.
When,
when we had
Fernando Tatis out for the year and, other players.
I was told multiple times by multiple Dodger fans that excuses happen, and if you have organizational depth, then they shouldn't be an issue. And they develop players, we don't, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When we got to the playoffs, Benny, we had no pitching. No, it's not an excuse. You play better, right? And listen, that is the way of baseball. I'm not going to make excuses using injuries. I mean, obviously they add up, but I've been told for years what a perfectly run organization it is and how much depth they have, and it's starting to bite them a little bit.
But context is also important, so I just wanted to add a little context.
You like adding context.
I did. So I tweeted back, well, Padres have over 50 million on the injured list right now. Maybe not as much as the Dodgers, but that's a lot, including the restricted list now with you being transferred over. And just about 3 weeks ago, it was 75 million when Xander Bogaerts was out. And that's actually a higher percentage, a much higher percentage of their payroll than the Dodgers' payroll. So while $114 million sounds like a lot and is a lot, according to Baseball Reference, the current Dodger payroll right now, $387 million. which means that's like between a quarter and a third of the payroll, whereas the Padres at this moment have almost a third of the payroll, and that's before Xander was out. But when he was out, they had more than a third of their payroll on the injured list. So, there are a lot of teams. And the Braves have, a ton of talent on the payroll. It's not even on the injured list. It doesn't even necessarily matter who's on the injured list. How much talent do you have on the injured list? And clearly, Mookie Betts is a big loss.
Sure, huge.
And has been for the Dodgers most of this season. And, having some of their pitchers like Yamamoto on the injured list is big. But the Braves, they're Spencer Strider and Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies. I mean, you could say that. The Padres, obviously, Fernando Tatis Jr., Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, all on the injured list.
Man.
There are lots of teams that have lots of star players. The Astros have dealt with a ton of injuries, as they pointed out. Much higher percentage of their payroll is on the injured list than the Dodgers' injured list.
The defending World Series champion Texas Rangers. I mean, look, there's really no excuse. And again, you can't tout how smart and great your development is, and how lush and talented all your prospects are if you're really struggling to win baseball games. I mean, they've basically been a 500 team for a couple of months now. So listen, it's you got to take advantage when a team is if there's blood in the water, you got to strike.
Of course, they pushed back on semantics. They said, well, I mean, 50 is still way less, and you can't count Xander because he's back now. I mean, should we count Freddie Freeman for the few days he missed while he was tending to his son? And I said,
do whatever you want.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
And I conceded. I said, I'm happy to award the Dodgers the trophy for most injured team if that's what you're going for.
Look at you. I like this.
So congratulations to the 2024 Los Angeles Dodgers.
The most injured.
The most injured team in baseball. We will tip our cap to you for that designation this year.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I listen. Now, you got to be careful. They're going to start sending you hate mail that look like kidnap letters, which I've gotten 3 of so far. So.
But no, they definitely have been dealing with a lot of injuries.
Yes.
They are getting a little healthier.
Yeah, I mean, but they're also supposed to come back.
They're also finding that sometimes when those guys come back, especially the pitchers, it's not really the same, at least right away, that they need more than just a start or two to be locked in. Kershaw was better his next start after the Padres kind of got to him. Looked a little bit better the next time out. I don't know exactly where he is. I wouldn't be counting on huge things from Clayton Kershaw the rest of the year.
And I watch a little bit of the games. Like I watched some of the Dodgers-Phillies game the other night because I needed to sleep and Joe Davis was on. So I watched some of that. But yeah, man, I'm just kind of really focused on what the Pods are doing because if they keep winning ball games, I mean, it's gonna. There's a real chance that they're nervous, man, and they should be. 2.5 games back, nobody thought the Pods would be this close, and nobody thought the Dodgers would be a 500 team, in the last few months. So keep doing what you're doing, everybody.
So now the Dodgers play the Pirates for the next 3 games, and the pressure's kind of on because they know the Padres just swept the Pirates. So you feel like, well, now we got to sweep the Pirates if we want to keep pace. But of course, it worked out pretty well. They get Mitch Keller, 10-game winner tonight against the Pirates against Jack Flaherty, and then Skeens will pitch tomorrow against River Ryan in Game 2 of that series.
That's appointment viewing, I'd say.
Things worked out pretty well for the Padres in terms of these matchups, which means if Skeens is pitching on Saturday, then he won't be able to pitch until at least Thursday of next week after the Pirates have already left San Diego. So Padres will miss him twice, both of the series against the Pirates, no Paul Skeens.
Well, you need a little luck, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I'd like to see Paul Skeens pitch, and I'd love to see how, he strikes out a lot of guys. We don't strike out a ton. I like that kind of battle, but yeah, man, any chance you take to miss a guy like that, you're fine with
I think at the start of the week, the Padres were 4.5 games back. You were still on vacation, and I said, if you want to win the division, this is a week where you have to make up at least a couple of games. I want to see 2.5 back by the end of the week. Well, they're already 2.5 back. And now you've got the Miami Marlins, an opportunity to continue your run, and we'll see what the Dodgers do against the Pirates and against Skeens and against Keller tonight. But there's the chance you could pick up another game or maybe even 2 this weekend if things break really well. And if you do that, then it's basically a coin flip race the rest of the way.
Now, I'm telling you guys, Padre fans right now, think about this. Everyone is clamoring for Jackson Merrill to win Rookie of the Year. but you still want Paul Skeens to go out and be absolutely dominant against the Dodgers. So, yeah, you're up against it a little bit there.
Well,
I personally would like to see Skeens shove against the Dodgers. That's what I'm putting my vote in for. I don't care really about the Rookie of the Year because I want to see this team do something
Again,
special.
you don't care about it as well, but just now that the Pirates are 2 games under 500 and falling out of the race, there's a good argument to be made that when you get to September, you're going to shut down Skeens.
Yeah,
if you're out of
100%.
the race, and that is going to have a big impact. If Jackson Merrill is pushing in a pennant race and helping the Padres toward the playoffs or a division title and has a decent September while Skeens is just sitting there, protecting his arm for 2025, that'll swing a lot of voters Jackson Merrill's way. If they had the vote right now, I think Skeens would probably still win. But they don't vote now. There's still a month and a half left of the season, and we may not see Skeens more than 3 or 4 more times. If the Pirates are going to be conservative and they're out of it, why would you throw him?
No reason.
That many innings. There's no reason to do that, but it could impact the Rookie of the Year race. So while I was on social media yesterday and seeing all these Dodgers tweets, right in the middle of all my notices, I was surprised to see a familiar face. Does anyone remember Steve in Coronado? Music teacher Steve, who had put together another video, and he is not giving up on his personal quest.
I thought it was the same video, so I had to check the date on the tweet. Then I had to go, because I really don't even know what date. I had to go look at my phone to make sure that was actually yesterday's date, and it happened again. You got another tweet. I don't know if I think I love my family as much as Steve in Coronado likes the bunt.
Hi, this message is directed to Mike Shildt and A.J. Preller. Hi, my name is Stephen Bruce. I want to address a weakness the Padres have, even though they're getting better and starting to get past this weakness, but it's a weakness that all major league teams have. It's the ability to lay down a bunt, especially a suicide squeeze with a runner at third base with less than 2 outs to drive in the winning run or a crucial run in a playoff game and or the World Series.
Right.
I believe if the Padres adapt this measure, this skill that I'll explain, they will be in the World Series this year in 2024 and win the World Series in 2024. Now, so this is what the Padres need to do to shore up this weakness. Every day, each batter gets into the batting cage with the pitching machine and is graded on 10 pitches. To make it easy, one day could be 10 102-mile-an-hour fastballs. The next day, it could be
102.
curveball. And they're graded on these 10 pitches per day, and those grades are simulated with trends and sent to Mike Shildt. So, Mike, you will have that chart every day in the dugout, and when the timing is right, you can call that suicide squeeze and win a crucial playoff game and or the World Series. This skill can be developed within 6 weeks if the Padres get started on it by mid-August.
Okay, we've heard this argument before from Steve, and he's very passionate about the bunting.
I feel like we bunt a lot.
Well, we do, and I pointed out to him that the Padres now lead all of Major League Baseball in bunt singles and are second only to the Diamondbacks in sacrifice bunts this year. And if I'm not mistaken, Major League Baseball is the highest level of baseball in which you're facing the toughest pitchers with the nastiest stuff, who throw the hardest, who have the most break on their pitches. So if you're bunting at the highest level of any team in Major League Baseball, that already makes you the best bunters in the world.
Correct.
So the Padres are the best bunters in the world. Is it possible, Steve, that they are already doing something correctly here?
Now, does he? I think what would make him feel better is that if he could see the grades posted every day, like, oh, Crony, monster day in the bunt challenge, A+ across the board. Manny, not such a good day. He's in the red. But I don't know, man. I think they're bunting a ton. And sometimes it
well.
works. And yeah, I mean, the bunt singles.
Bryce Johnson, Tyler Wade,
Yeah,
Larai's got one down recently. I mean, they have good bunters on this team.
Yeah.
Maybe too good.
Correct. Yeah, sometimes it does feel like, oh, wow, somebody is not wanting to hit right now and wanting to move guys over.
Jackson Merrill laid one down on this trip.
Hated that one. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. Loathed it every second of it. I love the safety squeeze. They've employed it a couple times this year. Safety squeeze it's almost
did it to Clayton Kershaw, which by the way could have been an out at home plate if he not boxed it,
dude. But a well executed safety squeeze, bro, it's indefensible. Like there's nothing you can do to defend it. So I like where his head's at, but I don't know. I don't know that they could do any more, right? I think they're doing enough. I think they're doing too much, but I think that they're doing it enough right now, but he's still not satisfied. And apparently I didn't see this, but he's sending it now to the players, and he's tagging players in it. So I did not see this yet, but look, I love the 3-run homer. I don't mind the bunt for a hit. I don't really like giving up outs early in a game. In the second inning, your 3-hole hitter drops a bunt down. It doesn't really do it for me when you have a chance to put a pitcher on the ropes and have a big inning. But
I think
to each their own.
It's almost getting predictable. Like first and third, one out, and Bryce Johnson comes up.
You know it's coming.
I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So at some point, the other team is also going to figure out that the bunt is coming.
It's kind of weird that they haven't
It makes it less effective. Yeah, it's like when I used to go to Chargers games and it was 2nd and 1, and I'd yell, "Here comes the handoff to Lorenzo Neal,"
right?
Because they do that every time it's 2nd and 1. I could stop that play because I know exactly it's coming. You do enough scouting on the Padres, you know when the bunts are coming, right? You've got an instinct as a fan watching. Oh, they're bunting here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I get it too. That's why I feel like the opponents are going to start figuring it out as well.
Yeah.
And then it becomes really ineffective because you know what? Major League Baseball defenders are usually really good too.
Now, so many people have said, please play this for Mike Shildt. There's no way that I'm playing that for Mike Shildt. If somebody,
especially on his birthday,
if somebody in PR wants to show it to him, I'm not going to be the one to say, hey, Skip, you got a minute and a half here to hear what you should be doing better. No, I'm not doing that. Sorry. I don't know that he would get the bid.
By the way, Mike Shildt, pretty detail-oriented.
Yes.
Takes his craft of getting his team ready fairly seriously.
Very seriously.
I'm sure he has a method for making sure that if they need to get a bunt down, that they've been practicing it from spring training, and I bet he's confident in his teaching methods as well.
Do you want to ask him?
No, I do not want to ask him.
I don't either. I really don't. Do you think that's the last video you'll get this season?
I thought the last video was the last video I was going to get this season.
All right.
He even acknowledged, yeah, you're doing better on bunting.
Yeah, better.
Well, why don't you just then say, good job.
Good job. Things are
well done.
Keep it up.
Keep it up.
Right.
Exactly.
Never satisfied, man. Never satisfied.
We'll come back with Jake Mintz, Cespedes Family Barbecue, next here on 97.3 The Fan.
my friends, we are halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. About to be joined by Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. And so, like, when you see a tweet from the Ben and Woods account, you never really have to wonder who it's from. It's not you. It's me. Or Paulie. But when you respond to a tweet from Cespedes Family Barbecue, you don't know who tweeted it. Was it Jake? Was it Jordan? Does that make sense?
They should just sign, dash
J-M.
J. It was J.
Yeah,
oh, no.
JMJS. Right? So then you know who it is. Again, Ben and Woods, you don't need to worry about who's responding because you still don't have the password.
We've got JM. I do. I actually could. I've been posting a couple of Instagram reposts lately. I've been trying a little bit more. We got JM today. Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue and Yahoo Sports joins us. Let's get him up on the YouTube stream. There he is. Good morning to you, Jake. How are you?
Hey, handsome.
I'm good. Hey, beautiful. Can I respond to the allegations?
Yes, please.
So the real barbecuties, the real hardos know. If the first letter of the tweet is capitalized, it's me. If it's lowercase, it's Jordan.
All right, so hang on. Jordan. It's a Jordan tweet that I responded to yesterday, and it was in response to the Chicago White Sox naming Grady Sizemore as their interim manager after firing Pedro Grifol. And Jordan said, very cool, one. Number two, he should give himself some DH at bats. Let's see some swings. This offense needs all the help it can get. And I tweeted, I'd actually love to see a player manager again someday, as long as they don't have a crippling gambling addiction, like the last player manager. You watch that documentary, by the way?
Couldn't do it.
Really?
About Pete Rose? Couldn't do
Yes.
it. Couldn't bring myself to do it. I have so much disdain for that man.
Oh,
I couldn't get over it.
It won't change your mind. It will not change your mind at all, even in the slightest, man. But the player manager is one of those things, though, Jake, that is it's gone. It's never come. I would say confidently, it's never coming back.
No. And that's just because the job of a manager is so difficult and so different compared to what it used to be. And the job of a player is different than what it used to be. Like they just take so much time and effort and attention to do both of those things. It's just, there's no scenario in which it would be worth it. I could imagine a setup where you could maybe have an interim player manager.
Yeah, interim.
Right? But maybe, if like Paul Konerko was still in the White Sox or something.
Yeah, for like a week.
But I think
do it
at the end of the
for like a
season,
week.
Yeah, a week. That'd be a good bit.
It doesn't make sense. You see, so like something that even I think is impressive, like Logan O'Hoppe, who's a second-year catcher for the Angels, is their captain. He's their captain. That's amazing. He's like 12 years old, right?
Right.
The idea of a real big league player being a everyday manager is just completely ludicrous.
Now, you're having managers who have been playing more recently, like Stephen Vogt with the Guardians was playing like, what, a year ago?
Last year.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
He retired last year. So,
no,
2 years ago.
I believe I think his final season was 2021.
Okay,
No,
so it feels like it was very
I
soon,
thought he was
though,
with the A's last year.
that players are getting into the dugout as managers much faster than they used to.
He was with the A's in 2022. But yes, guys are getting into the dugout much faster. And the reason for that is because they understand the state of play in clubhouses better than an older manager generally.
Sure.
And so you would assume they'll be able to relate to the players better. It's almost similar to, if you're a cool 28-year-old teacher who knows the TikTok dances, like your students might like you more. It's a similar thing. But to be a successful player and to be a successful manager, there aren't enough hours in the day.
Yeah, it's such an unfeasible thing in the way that everything is so specialized now, and that is one of the things that stood out about that documentary that you haven't watched and won't watch is watching him play manage was just, it's weird. Like I remember it when I was a kid, but to watch it now, it just makes no sense. I wanted to ask you. Oh, go ahead.
We had an example. I believe Nelson Cruz was a player GM
For the WBC, right?
Yeah.
For the WBC.
That's right.
That's a little different. You can't like DFAing yourself in an international tournament is different than pinch hitting yourself
I can't even imagine. Guys, I'm going to take one here. I got this one, all right? And
I got this one.
All
Well,
right,
you're
buddy.
a player manager for the Tier 1s.
I am a player manager for our baseball team, and yeah, I had to start inserting myself in games because I also want to play. But it's not, and I performed, thank God. But if I also know that if I wasn't, and if there's a better option, I'll
take
pull
yourself
myself.
out.
100%, man. 100%. I'm old.
Jake Mintz is our guest from Cespedes Family Barbecue. It is brought to you each week by our friends at Grand Ole Barbecue. Someone asked, did Ben was wearing that hat the whole time? No, I put it on to promote our friends at Grand Ole Barbecue, who bring us our friends at Cespedes Family Barbecue each and every Friday.
I'm coming out there for the playoffs, boys. I'm coming. I'm going to get some barbecue out there.
Good.
I love that. Well,
don't jinx it, but
it
yes.
certainly feels like it's more likely as the Padres are up to 86% in Fangraphs to make the playoffs, but it's still a pretty tight race. Obviously, we've had a pretty nice couple of weeks here since the All-Star break, Jake, and things are going almost too well. It's like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, how can this is the San Diego Padres we're talking about. We don't get runs like this, but they're the hottest team in baseball. Would you agree with that statement?
I would agree with that, and the schedule is certainly helping them out. If you could just play the Pirates, these Pirates all the time. I mean, what? You got the Marlins this weekend.
Yep.
Then the Pirates again.
And the Rockies.
And the Rockies after that. I mean, if you're not up 25 games in the wild card race by that point, that's an embarrassment.
That's what makes us so nervous.
As it should. You got the White Sox are still on the schedule. You got the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks in the last week of the year if you need to catch up on some ground. Things are looking nice in San Diego. I wouldn't even say the word division yet. Like, that's the boogeyman. Don't even utter that, okay? I know you want to manifest positive energy, but, like, let's not put the cart before the horse here.
I mean, manifesting positive energy is one thing, but also, knowing how the game works and how quirky it can be and how bad a stretch can get at times. You can't really look at it. You just need to continue to beat those teams that you need to beat that are on the schedule. But I wanted to ask you, joined by Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue right now. I know, you're a big Orioles fan as well. Had to be a little bit of a sigh of relief that Jackson Holliday is back up and is hitting, prodigious home runs at a pretty nice rate so far.
Yeah, he's a big old boy now. A couple months in Norfolk do a lot of good. He is showing why he was so highly touted to come up to the major leagues at that age and have those expectations. It is difficult. He did not look right in his original stint with the Orioles. He was like 1 for 28.
Yeah.
Did not have a homer. It just wasn't the player that everyone was being promised and that he knew he could be. He went back down, worked on some things, came up with a bit more of an edge, and he's already hit 4 home runs over the last 2 weeks, I think. And it's the reason why you don't trade the guy at the deadline, right? It's a reason why these teams hoard prospects, which maybe isn't always a good thing. Also, not something that your team does.
No,
really, ever.
No, we can't relate.
But Holiday is showing why you don't give up on someone when they're 21 years old and have one bad 2-week stretch in the bigs.
No, the Padres have traded most of their prospects, but they did keep their one named Jackson, who's 21 years old, and he is he's continuing to absolutely tear it up. And we had the discussion this week, Jake. Jackson doesn't care about winning the Rookie of the Year. He really, truly does not. It's not even.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing because he ain't going to win it.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you because there's certainly now they didn't get to go head to head. The Padres missed Paul Skeens both of these 2 series, so no head to head battle between the two. But Jackson certainly made a statement in Pittsburgh this week with his 2 home run, 9th inning dramatic home run game, and just continuing to. I mean, outsize, you talked about Logan O'Hoppe wearing a C. We're going to ask Mike Shildt at 9 o'clock about the leadership that Jackson Merrill, as a 21-year-old, is showing on a veteran-laden team every single day.
He's amazing. Merrill is amazing. And I think in a normal year, would have a great argument to win the Rookie of the Year. Paul Skeens is doing something historic. And unless he robs a bank or, invades a country, I don't think you can take it away from him. He has a 1.99 ERA in 86 innings. He's going to get, I think he will finish in the top 5 in Cy Young.
Well, they shut him down. Though.
That's what I'm wondering. Now that they're under 500,
down if they keep losing,
are they going to try to protect some innings and save some in September? And will that hurt him if he only gets to like 115 innings?
For the Rookie of the Year or the Cy Young?
For the Rookie of the Year,
it's not going to make a difference. It's like he's going to get to 120, 125, 130, and that's going to be more than enough. For the Cy Young, I don't think he has a chance just because of those innings, right? Sale is going to end up around 180. Wheeler will get over 200 probably. I don't think Skeens should win it, and that's not his fault. There's a reason that they built him up really slowly at the front half of the year. So now they have enough runway with him where I think they will let him continue to pitch. And the other thing is, I mean, he sells out the place when he goes home.
He does.
So they're not going to, it's a money-making operation.
That's a good point.
Now, the joke's on you because I just saw Paul Skeens just invaded Guatemala. So
it's over.
I think it's over.
Yeah, it happened.
During the Olympics?
During the Olympics, yeah. What a better time. What better time to do that?
Can
I
I
know.
talk about the Olympics very quickly?
Sure, go ahead.
I wrote something that's going up on Yahoo today about baseball in the Olympics and MLB in the Olympics. So for those of you who don't know, baseball existed in the Olympics for a long time. It got cut from the normal program in 2005. We had it in 2020 in Tokyo because host nations can propose it. We're probably going to have it in 2028 in LA. And there's a conversation within the game going on right now of should big leaguers be allowed to play, right? Should MLB pause the season for a week and a half and send all the stars to LA to do a WBC style tournament? And I think, yes, I think it's worth it. I think the upside is enormous. I think the logistics of doing it in LA are not that bad. I'm curious what you guys think.
We had this discussion too, and as we tend to do, kind of waffled back and forth on it. And all these guys say they want to play for country. They all do. So I say let them. It's midway through the season. They're built up. It's not like the WBC where guys aren't quite ready to ramp up yet, and they're really having to get hot way early. I think you do it, man. I really do. And I don't know if, I guess you pause the season and just wait. Now, it would be excruciating to be without, Padres baseball every single day for a couple of weeks in the middle of the year, but it's every 4 years. I think they do it too.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think logistically it's just a nightmare to stop the season in the middle of the year. And the World Baseball Classics exists. We don't need We have every 2 years now. We have essentially a World Cup for baseball. Once the WBC, once the Olympics. It's exactly the same thing, except everyone's going to go. The Olympics is kind of cooler because it's everyone's built up, which means the WBC probably has to go away. And they've invested way too much in the WBC to simply say, you know what, the Olympics, which we don't make $1 off of, the Olympic Committee makes all of this, and we're going to give you all of our best talent and let them potentially get injured for the pennant races. It's just never going to happen. They're going to talk about it, but it's not going to happen.
So I think it will when it's all said and done. I think logistically you do it during the All-Star break. You start the tournament. The All-Star game would be July 11th and the opening ceremonies are July 14th. So you do the All-Star game, then you roll right into it with games in LA. You do it before opening ceremonies. A lot of nations do that. I think that Rob Manfred wants this. I think this is something that he sees as part of his legacy. And then in regards to WBC, I don't think that they would do the Olympics in 2032 in Australia or in 2036 in, I think,
so just a one-off
Turkey,
in 2028.
Chile and Indonesia. You just do it as a one-off and you say to the Olympic Association, like, whenever it's in a country that gives a big crap about baseball, we'll do the tournament because it's just worth it for the fan interest on the back end. We've shown that international baseball can develop interest, and I think it would do significant ratings. And you don't like the 5 rings and the gold medal, like that's going to mean a lot to these guys,
big time. They all say it.
I think that the trade-off is worth it. And yes, the injuries are a big deal for hockey, which is a sport that you guys probably never even heard of before.
Vaguely.
They have paused the season in the past. They're going to do it in 2 years.
Yep.
I believe the International Hockey Federation and the International Olympic Committee cover the cost of the insurance on player injuries. And I think that if that was the case for baseball, it would go quite a long way.
I like that. I can't wait to read your piece.
There's no insurance that can make you whole when you're tied for the wild card and your ace pitcher goes down during an Olympic game and is unavailable for the rest of the season.
Maybe Grayson Rodriguez or something, right?
We had this with Edwin Diaz, and it stunk, right? And I feel for Mets fans and for Edwin. But you can't look at the 2023 WBC and tell me that was not a huge success.
It was awesome. You're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it was great. Well, good stuff as always, man. Can't wait to read the piece later on Yahoo Sports. Really appreciate you checking in with us on this fine Friday.
Another beautiful one. You guys take it easy.
Thank you, buddy. You too.
Jake Mintz, Cespedes Family Barbecue, brought to you by Grand Ole Barbecue. Paul Skeens now installing a military junta in Guatemala. I mean, he's just going to lose the Rookie of the Year on that alone. It's terrible. It's awful.
If he and Livy Dunn break up, we have a good shot.
That's a good point.
If they break up, Jackson Merrill wins. I think going away.
I don't know.
For him,
clearly, that has given him some cachet.
Oh, yeah.
A 1.99 ERA is insane.
He's got like 107 Ks or something.
That's insane.
He's nasty.
He should be very much talked about for Rookie of the Year.
Well, I liked Don Orsillo's take the other day on, and Don Orsillo said they should have two. They should have one for a pitcher and one for a hitter.
Why
I mean, it's a
not?
no-brainer. Why not? Why not? Remember Crony got robbed by Devin Williams? Crony should have won Rookie of the Year, but Devin Williams got it after throwing 27 innings. That's what they talked about on the broadcast. Two. Just do two. Pitcher.
They already have AL and NL, too,
right.
by the way.
So pitcher and position player.
So four. You've got now four Rookies of the Year.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty much. Why don't we just make every Rookie of the Year at the end of the year?
Whatever.
And we all feel good about it.
Why are we hoarding these awards so tightly? Just everybody's going to get a participation trophy. No, he's the best pitcher rookie. He's the best hitter rookie. No brainer. Do it.
If you are interested in seeing Paul Skeens sitting on the bench at Petco Park next week and not pitching, we got some tickets to give away for the Monday game that he will not be a part of, but you can be a part of it when we come back. Your chance to win some Padres tickets next year with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. watch any of that basketball game. I texted you just to turn it on.
Can't you
just
believe
the last? If you had just watched the last 7 minutes, you would have been enthralled.
Can't you believe it, though?
Even as a not of talent. Anything less than a win it's the embarrassment of losing to a lesser team. And not that Serbia, I mean, they had the MVP, the reigning MVP of the NBA, anchoring their squad, couple of other NBAers, but then it's just a bunch of Serbian guys you've never heard of. Happen to be hitting some shots, though. And when you do that and you have an MVP on the floor, things get dicey. And they were down 17 in the first half, still down 11 with 7 minutes to go. And you could see at that point, it was like, this is like legacy time here. We don't win, and then we're playing Germany for the bronze medal. And I saw someone tweet.
Brilliant.
Do you think someone mentioned that, do you want to be known as LeBrons for the rest of your life, LeBron James, if you lose this game?
Oh, my God. LeBrons.
I mean, come on. This is your chance. You get one shot every 4 years. You don't want to be the team that loses the first Olympics in 20 years for Team USA. And it ended up being a pretty thrilling comeback and finish at the end. You had Kevin Durant hit a huge three, and then Embiid had his best game. And then it was Curry, and it was LeBron. Triple-double for LeBron James and Steph Curry, 36 points, made a ton of three-pointers, more than 50%, had his best game of the tournament. And they pulled it out, and they will now play. And this is, I would recommend you tune in on Saturday. They will play France for the gold medal, the host country, featuring who's France's most intriguing player?
Victor.
Good, very good.
Yeah,
Wemby and
Wembanyama.
France against Team USA, where the entire crowd
will be rooting
going to be rooting hard. Now, there's Basketball Woods is here. Thank you, Basketball Woods.
It's great to be here, everybody.
And USA has gotten a lot of support while they're there because they got all the stars. Everyone wants to see them do well, but not against France. They're going to be the big enemy in this game on Saturday. Now, they should win. They'll be favored immensely. But as you can see, you hit some shots, anything can happen. It was compelling theater yesterday. One of the most compelling parts of this Olympic Games in France was that game against Serbia.
What time is the game on Saturday?
Ooh, good question. I know
that's
it's on
information
Saturday.
I need to know.
Let's see. Olympic schedule on Saturday. It is at basketball. Men's 2 a.m.
Excuse me?
2 a.m. Oh, no, that's the bronze medal game. Sorry. You don't have to worry about that.
Tyler said 12:30.
12:30 is much better than 2 a.m. Yes, 12:30 Pacific time. Gold medal game, France against USA.
I'm going to be watching our beloved San Diego Padres take on the Miami Marlins at 1:10. You can actually hear that game right here on 97.3 The Fan, a home of the Padres. So that's what I'll be doing. I can't wait for your update.
I have multiple screens.
You also don't have crippling ADHD, so I don't know what to tell you there. It's hard enough for me sometimes to pay attention to my beloved San Diego Padres game without drifting off into space, much less watching basketball on one screen and baseball on another.
All right, maybe ask Mike Shildt. Could you just go ahead, put up like 8 in the first,
and then I can
on Saturday, and then I can turn my attention. Woods can turn his attention toward a little basketball.
I don't think we should ask him that, and I think he would do it. I think he would do it if he could.
I'm sure if he could.
He would.
All right, we got some tickets to give away for Monday's Padres-Pirates game at Petco Park. It is a 6:40 start. First 40,000 fans in attendance will take home a 1999 Tony Gwynn Henley jersey presented by Surf Pro. Those are like the 3-button top jerseys.
It's a Don Henley Tony Gwynn jersey.
It's made by Don Henley.
Made by Don Henley.
Giveaway celebrates the 25th anniversary of Tony's 3,000th career hit, which was August 6th, earlier this week. Jersey is available in 5 sizes while supplies last. Arrive early. Gates open 90 minutes prior to first pitch. We're going to give one to the 5th caller right now, 833-288-0973. 5th caller gets a pair of tickets, 833-288-0973. You can learn more at Padres.com/giveaways. We will come back. Adam has teased a fairly juicy edition of the Clug Report.
I like that.
For 8:35 coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits, still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Got more baseball coverage coming up at 9 o'clock in our Manager's Report with Mike Shildt from Miami. Jesse returning to his hometown of Miami this weekend.
It will never not blow my mind that Jesse Agler is from Miami. Never. It always will blow my mind.
It blows my mind that Adam Klug is from Georgia.
Yes.
And went to the University of Georgia and grew up in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't sound like a Georgian.
I'm from Texas. I don't sound like I'm from Texas.
You don't sound like a Texan. Adam doesn't sound like a Georgian.
Jesse Agler just doesn't seem like a Miami guy. Manny Machado seems like a Miami guy. He's got the flair and all of that. And Jesse Agler.
But we have stereotypes. People from other parts of the country assume in San Diego we're all beach-going surfers.
Yeah, beach bums. Yeah,
all the time.
Right.
And, some of us
When's
are.
the last time you went to the beach?
Haven't gone yet this summer, so probably last year.
When was
the year
that?
before, maybe.
In Hawaii.
Yeah, in Hawaii.
In Hawaii, yes.
I
was
am a beach
just
guy
in
Hawaii.
Yes, exactly right.
Here? No. But my wife, she goes all the time. She loves going to the beach.
Adam, you've been in San Diego for a few years now. Are you guys beach goers?
We go to the beach nearly every weekend
Do
during
you?
the summer.
And I was wondering with my kids and my wife, since we got back from Hawaii, and everyone really enjoyed swimming in the bay and being on the beach, I still don't know that we'll go here, which is weird because we had so much fun.
Why not? What's stopping you?
The fact that you can't see under the water.
Yes. And the water temperature is a big one. It's butt cold.
Yeah.
Butt cold.
My son loves going out and I'll put my feet in. I'm like, oh my god!
Oh
it's
my
freezing.
God,
I don't
it's
want to do
shocking.
this. But your kid keeps saying he wants to go, and so
You have to do
I
it.
went in last weekend and it was frigid.
Do you wear a rash guard type
I don't
swim
have
shirt?
I recently told my wife I need to get one so I don't get sunburned, but I don't currently have one, so I don't have.
In Hawaii, you walked into the water and you're like, this is it, man. It's just perfect. It was just perfect.
Now, there is one unfortunate stereotype of San Diego that is shamefully very true from the movie Anchorman, and that is our obsession with coverage on local news of giant panda bears. And I don't know if you turned in any of the channels yesterday, but we were wall to wall at Channel 10, Channel 8, Channel 7, Channel 5, Channel 9, everyone live at the zoo for we called it Pandemonium.
Of course you did.
Which is, such a Ben pun, but Anchorman kind of ruined it all for us because we literally were Brian Fantana live at the zoo in front of the panda exhibit. And you can't go in there because they will eat your face. They are literally bears. They will eat your face. It was so ridiculous, yet so necessary as well in San Diego yesterday.
I was getting, this morning as I was making my coffee, I looked at the TV and it was panda time.
Yeah.
On Fox 5. And I looked at Hannah and I go, this is, and she's like,
they've been gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
This is the big return of the pandas.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Finally, for people can go down and see them. The crowds at the zoo yesterday, we had the helicopter above showing the parking lot, absolutely jam-packed with people who wanted to get the first look at the new giant pandas at the San Diego Zoo. We had Joan Embry in studio. You remember Joan Embry? Used to be on The Tonight Show.
Sound familiar.
She was the animal person who went on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and would bring in different animals. San Diego Zoo representative. She was actually in Channel 10. I can't tell you how many times I saw her on TV when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like every day you'd see Joan Embry with a different animal. Oh, I've got a koala. Oh, here's a lynx. And she'd take them in studio and show off the animals. As I was a kid, she was actually there yesterday, still doing her conservation work and talking about rare and precious animals. It was incredible.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's definitely something that we do and and are doing. Pandemonium.
Pandemonium yesterday in San Diego.
You probably had to smile a little bit.
Of course I did.
Yeah,
of course I did.
Are the other stations bummed that you guys beat them to that
I'm
punch?
sure they all used it too. We didn't trademark it or anything.
So good. I like pandas though. They're cute to look at. But like you said, they will absolutely rip your face.
So apparently, and I learned this yesterday with our pandemonium coverage.
Fill me in.
So you know how they have the black spots around their eyes, the very signature giant panda, and scientists have always kind of research. Why is it? It's not really camouflage. It doesn't help them blend into their environment. What is the purpose? And they have pretty much determined that pandas, that's how they identify each other. Like, they can recognize the difference in your little eye markings. They're all like fingerprints.
Oh.
And like they'll remember for years, like, oh, yeah, that panda and I had beef. I remember that panda from a few years ago just based on his eye markings around his eye.
That's absolutely fascinating. Also sounds made up.
Doesn't
Very, no, there's no way to know that. But it sounds really, really
eye
fascinating.
black, like Jackson Merrill is going full panda around his eyes.
He did yesterday he went, and Mudd called it full Alice Cooper. You want to talk about an eye wash bit. Is the eye?
Does it really do anything?
No.
I didn't think so either.
No, it doesn't.
How
They say that it cuts down the glare.
But I can't see my cheeks.
But the funny thing is, when you put it on, all you stare at is the eye black below your eyes. It's never worked for me. My kids love it because let's be honest, it looks badass when just the two little, just one on each side. That's all you need. You don't. The whole Bryce Harper thing. I don't know. I've never done that.
I question whether any outfielder in history has ever caught a fly ball that they would have dropped.
Yeah.
Because they had eye black on.
Yeah, thank God I had that on today because I forgot.
I would have lost that one. They still lose things in the sun all the time.
Could have just worn sunglasses, but
Yeah, that's
Who was it? It wasn't a Padre, fortunately. They had the sunglasses on their head, or was it? It was Peralta. It was.
Yeah, it was Peralta.
He had sunglasses on his head and lost one in the sun.
Happens
and
all the time in
maybe
baseball.
I should put these on since I've got them out here for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. I think that's why guys started doing it, and it looks cool to wear
Totally
it.
with you. The sun was going to go directly in my eyes, but I put this little black stuff
strip.
right, and then the sun diverted its rays to underneath my eyes.
Right, and now there's no glare.
Please.
It's very eye washing.
Never got that. It's the opposite of eye wash.
It's eye
dirt.
black. Yeah. Let's do the Clug
Traffic
report.
and then the Clug report next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Robert Half. Got a stalled vehicle northbound 805 near Telegraph Canyon. It's over to the right shoulder. Up ahead, a crash just before Imperial. Couple vehicles involved. They are over to the right shoulder. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a stalled vehicle south 163 at the Laurel Street Bridge, blocking the right lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the
Clug
Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the
Clug
Report.
Right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the
Clug
Report on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
He is back, and he is ready to go. And I'm excited for the Clug Report. Adam.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Good morning.
A few days ago, in this very similarly named segment, the Reindl Report, Paulie highlighted American sprinter Noah Lyles after he won gold and had a very inspirational tweet about overcoming several things in his personal life to achieve ultimate
Allergies,
success.
asthma, depression, anxiety, among the things I think he tweeted about.
Yesterday, Lyles won another medal. He won the bronze in the 200-meter, and moments after the race, he told reporters that he had tested positive for COVID-19 2 days earlier. Still won a bronze. Said after testing positive, he left the Olympic Village and quarantined in a hotel, took some meds, and he was allowed to remain and participate in the race. How impressive is it that he won the bronze after testing positive for COVID?
I've had that new strain of COVID. It knocked me. Now, I'm not a world-class athlete either, but it knocked me on my ass for like 2 days. All I did was sleep. So everything these guys do is impressive, and what he's already overcome is impressive. That is very impressive as well.
You always wonder, now, could he have won the gold if he had been fully healthy? Now, I heard Chris talking about this yesterday. And people were like, I was the mask up guy, and like, oh, what do you think about this? Is this risky behavior? Like, that was before we had vaccines.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
you can choose to or not to, you know,
Sure.
personal decision. But now that we're protected, if you want to go outdoors and do what you can, now I would recommend if you're going to be caught up in a bus or anything and you have COVID, you should either stay away or be masked up in that situation if you know you have it. But now it's a different time. Before that, yeah, you wanted to protect those vulnerable around us and stay away from them, and we had to do that before. It's a little different now. COVID's still around, but obviously because so many of us have gotten vaccines, we're okay, and I'm okay with Noah Lyles competing if he could, and he did, and congratulations to him.
In case you guys missed it, a couple days ago, NFL Network was broadcasting live at Seattle Seahawks practice. And while they were on live TV, a fight broke out in the background. This is on Wednesday. And you can see DK Metcalf take his helmet off and hit a guy in the head. Similar to, remember, a couple years ago with Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph.
Yep.
He literally hit his teammate in the head with a helmet.
I don't know that it was his teammate. Wasn't it
Was it a two-team practice?
Yeah, I think it was a two-team practice. If I'm not mistaken, I vaguely remember seeing this tweet. But yeah, I mean, it was you can't.
The other guy had a helmet on too.
Yeah. But still, you can't.
I mean, if you swing a helmet at someone without a helmet on, that's a crime.
Yeah, dude.
It's not great, even if they do have a helmet on.
Also,
but these fights are in training camp are so, like, the coaches want them to happen. They're like, okay, we need to have a fight today.
100%.
It's like part of training camp, ritual that you got another team out there, even with your own team.
Yeah.
We need a fight today, and they'll actually tell veteran players, "I need you to start."
Oh, dude,
a fight.
I don't know if you guys
just to kind of mix things up with this team.
Did you guys see the Ryan Clark thing that he was talking about when he played for the Steelers and Antonio Brown the day he got paid? When he got his huge deal from the Steelers, Ryan Clark said he's going to be insufferable. Now, he was a great player. This is like the coolest behind-the-scenes video I ever heard. AB was out there, and he was running mouth, talking trash to his own defense and playing against them. And he said by the end of practice, it was full-on war. Like full-on, we're not pulling any punches. Roethlisberger, even with his red jersey, you're getting hit. AB's getting forearm shivers. He said it was the most intense practice he'd ever been a part of. And it's one of my favorite parts about football is when they show those in, you got to have it sometimes. You got to have it out with people on your own team. Adam and I have had it out plenty, right? I've never hit you with a helmet. I've never hit you with a helmet. Right?
Did anybody
in most workplaces, you can't resort to physicality,
Correct.
but on a football field, you can. Yeah.
So yesterday, new Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, who our audience would know as an NFL head coach if
Based
they
on
listen
real
to
or
Real or
fake
Fake.
yesterday.
That's right.
Well, I was trying to trick everyone thinking Mike McDaniel is the head coach, not Mike McDonald. They're both head coaches now.
Mike McDonald said, quote, DK is a leader on this team. We look to him. As he goes, we go. You guys think that that's what leadership looks like?
I wouldn't mess with DK Metcalf.
Guess what? If they end up winning a bunch, they'll say that's leadership, and if they lose, it's
unhinged behavior.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the only difference between the two things is whether the team starts winning or losing after it.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
And finally here, guys, Ben and Woods has pretty much become the official home for fringe sports controversies. You guys covered the bass fishing controversy with weights inside the fish.
Great story.
You had the hot dog eating controversy, right, where the contestant stole the plate.
Yep, we talked about that at the hot dog contest, the plate counting controversy.
I think I know where you're going here.
I'm going to take you guys over to South Russia right now, where the Dagestan Chess Championship was taking place. And security camera footage caught 40-year-old Russian chess champion Amina Abakarova sneaking into the chess tournament room, checking to make sure that the coast was clear, pulling something out of her bag, and then she poured a substance onto the board and rubbed it all over the chess pieces of her rival.
Correct.
And then exited the room.
What was
I
it?
have the security footage.
But what would you put on chess pieces that would
I will tell you.
What?
Abakarova was targeting 30-year-old Umaiganat Osmanova, who subsequently became ill during the match. A tournament judge got suspicious, checked the security footage, and Abakarova then admitted to police about the attempted poisoning of her rival. She told police she broke a thermometer, spread the mercury over the board and the chess pieces in an attempt to poison her rival.
Like, that's like mercury poisoning can be fatal.
Yeah, 100%.
That's insane. I thought they were going to be like a prank, like baby oil on the pieces, and they kept slipping out of their hands or something.
Baby oil.
So now you can see it up on our YouTube feed.
There she is. Yeah, she's walking. It looks like a classroom almost, with desks set up with chess boards, and she walks over to one specific board, kind of looking over her shoulder, pulls something out of her bag, and now surreptitiously,
my God,
looks like painting or dropping something right around the pieces of her opponent. They'd be white pieces. I guess she knew she was going to be the black pieces.
Yeah. That's staggering.
I mean, she's so carefully looking around. Don't you look up in the
There
corner
are
and
other
see the
people
camera?
in the rooms, by the way.
But
Yeah, there's people in the corner of the
And
room.
in the bottom.
In the bottom.
And you have to know that you're being watched, and because they have to watch these competitions.
I guess it would feel like it would be impossible to cheat because, I mean, the game hasn't obviously started yet. The pieces are just set up in their neutral position. So it's not like, hey, if I steal her queen and she shows up tomorrow and there's no queen, I'll have a huge advantage. No, they'll just find another piece and put it back. You would think there'd be no way to cheat.
Even if she did put baby oil on there, as you suggested, you could just get new pieces and wipe them off. It's not that this is taking it to the next level. Is the poisoned okay? Like, she okay?
As far as I know.
Oh my God. Many people will say that's what you have to do to get an edge to win. I'm not one of them. I like to get an edge, certainly, but I don't want to poison anybody.
All right, no one in San Diego poison Paul Skeens while he's here,
Right.
just so Jackson Merrill wins the rookie.
That's
of the
exactly
year.
right.
Can we
Don't
be
do
clear
that.
about that? That would be a don't do this moment. That's a
Correct.
whole different segment.
God, that is terrible.
Thank you, Adam. That's a
Great
great
job.
job.
You're
Very
welcome,
good Clug
guys.
report today.
Ben and Woods, the home of fringe sport controversies.
That's right.
On Monday, we'll get an Italian Paul Reindl report
Yes.
with his Godfather music and everything, and probably a Formula One story and maybe a Mets story from Frank.
We'll look forward to that.
For what it's worth, Abakarova faces 3 years in prison if she's convicted.
Yeah, I mean,
That's it?
She's definitely going to get convicted. It's
They
on
like,
camera.
that poisoning people. That's the Russian, the spies. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
It's a big thing in Russia.
She
Poison.
claimed her rival had been bad-mouthing her and her family after winning a previous chess tournament.
Lord.
Chess trash talk.
Oh, that is gnarly. All right, we'll come back. Mike Shildt will join us from Miami. Our manager's report with the skipper of the Padres and birthday boy coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. Well, Padres fans, we're having fun now. Padres have won 14 of their past 16 games, 5 in a row, and open a 3-game series against the Miami Marlins tonight at 4:10 Pacific time. And it is time right now for our Manager's Report with Mike Shildt, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking, it's better, and we are joined, and I didn't know this, by the greatest manager in the history of Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Mike Shildt. I just saw the stat this morning. Mike Shildt's 839 winning percentage at PNC Park. 26-5 is the highest of any manager at any park in Major League history. Well, congratulations on that, Mike. They must hate you in Pittsburgh.
Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, we have had teams play well there. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Well, first of all, very happy birthday to you this morning. I will offer, Ben has done this before. He has sang the Marilyn Monroe version of Happy Birthday to some guests before. If you're interested, I can accommodate that for you.
Well, if he was more aligned with the Marilyn Monroe actually looking
that's
like
fair.
her,
Yeah.
I would be more inclined.
Right, that's fair. That's very fair. It comes off as creepy.
Yeah, the sentiment goes a much longer way.
Good.
All right, I know what,
Grateful for that.
Mike, I know what fans focus in on. Big moments like Jackson Merrill's home run from the road trip in the 9th inning and the clutch moments from your team. But what about you? On a week like that, 5-game winning streak, as well as the team has been playing, what are the moments, what are the things that have stood out to you over this past week?
Good question. Let me process it. There's been a lot. I mean, one thing that resonated with me in reflecting, because I got a question after the series in Pittsburgh about the series, which was, there's a lot to unpack there too, but, just about this in general series. And I was like, it's the 1 through 26, the contributions from everybody in our roster, not only in this past series, but, recently has been very, very important and a lot of contributions from a lot of different dudes, man. The guys that have been contributing, obviously Jackson, big moments, Profar, big moments, Manny, big moments, Bogey's come back, done a tremendous job. Rise does his thing. Higgy's been good. Campy, that group's been good back behind the plate. So from a position player standpoint, those guys have been tremendous. But, talk about the Solanos, David Frost's big 2-run homer yesterday. Tyler Wade coming in for Kimmy, a little hurt and playing really well for 2 days and contributing to 2 wins. Bryce Johnson, getting bunts down, making plays defensively, doing a good job on the bases. All those guys have been really big for us. Crony's been able to get some big hits. So, that contribution on the pitching side. Yeah, Dylan's been great, clearly. Michael King, good to get him back. He got us through 5 the other day. Walter's been really, really consistent and steady for us. And, Vasquez was effective for us yesterday as well. And, Martin Perez came in, big 6 innings, his first start. And, talk about big innings from Brian Hoying, the first game in the rain situation on opening game of the series against Pittsburgh. And, we lose Cease after the first, and Hoying goes 3+ and throws up a bunch of goose eggs. And, man, what a great job in the bullpen. Scott, obviously a great addition. Adam, great addition. Morion's been good. Estrada, Yuki, gave up a homer yesterday, but he's been really good for us. So, obviously, point being is guys have contributed across the board, and, everybody's doing their part.
Yeah, there's no question. It's been so much fun to watch, Skip. I wanted to ask you, you don't have to take us through that wacky 9th inning the other night again. I know you've done it. I heard your explanation for all of it. It was kind of a new one for a lot of us, but I wanted to ask you this. Now, I know you came out to make sure that nobody got thrown out because you didn't have anybody left on the bench. Had the worst happen there, and let's say it's Manny, playing third base, and he was pretty vocal to the umpire, and had the worst happen, and Manny actually got run, who would you have put in, and where would you have put them?
I'll keep that state secret. It was I definitely got out there. I mean, there was a few candidates, not many. I mean, you look at the bullpen's been used.
Right. It's got to be a start. It's got to be a starter.
You don't really have anybody in the bullpen. Well, it's got to be a starter. It's not the next day starter because, not that. And then you don't want to just put anybody out there because who knows what can happen. But yeah, man, it was what a wild 3 games in Pittsburgh. I mean, hard to unpack all of it. Yeah, that ninth, I mean, just want to make sure, which I did. I mean, he's got a good head on his shoulders. Sure. He knows the situation, but, and he was right. I mean, they completely, whiffed on, not the umpires, just the setting of the clock in the first place. But after we intentionally walked Hayes, instead of resetting the clock to 30, they put it back to 15. And then it got, Andy a little, it got the timing of everybody off about being engaged to the 8. And then, Suarez, again, thinking it's 30 because new hitter. Next thing you know, there's a ball. And give them credit, they got it right. But, because of that, again, in a high leverage situation, Manny's like, no, man, that's wrong. So I go out, make sure Manny's good, make my point to them, stay out there. And it was an interesting trip, to say the least.
I just kept picturing Matt Waldron playing third base or something in my mind, and I just said, I wonder what Skip would have had up his sleeve. But yeah, listen, keep those trade secrets close to the vest in case you have to use them. You're talking about a fan. We watched Joe Musgrove play left field a couple years ago.
It felt like it was one of the moments of his life when he got out there, and that was.
And, if I know one thing, because we've talked to Crony a bunch on this show, and I asked him, how much do you lobby to the skipper to let you come in and pitch in a blowout? He goes, all the time. And I go, man, if there's one thing I know about baseball players, they're never really happy with what they want to do a little bit more. So I was just kind of wondering, are there guys that are in your ear like, Skip, let me hit, let me play second in a blowout or something like that?
I don't get pitchers don't want to go on the field in a blowout.
Yeah.
They used to lobby more for at bats, but that was back when they were hitting.
Yeah.
And they were into that, and they were hitting and hitting every day, and but now we don't play that game anymore, so nobody's lobbying for that necessarily. Crony, different story.
We knew it.
Yeah. He wants out there. He's pretty pleased with his 0 ERA, career ERA, and quite candidly, that the rules don't allow it anymore. I understand the genesis of it, but we were thin on pitching, as I'm sure you know, especially yesterday. Crony would have been an option, like in a competitive situation, but by rule we couldn't do it. Because it's got to be a plus or minus, or 8. Run differential. So he was in the mix.
It's our manager's report with Mike Shildt. Padres are in Miami tonight, and we have talked about Jackson Merrill a lot, considering what this kid is doing at age 21 and how he's produced. But I also see, just from my perspective, his teammates responding to him. He's got kind of an infectious attitude, just the way he carries himself, and I wondered, can a 21-year-old in your mind be a leader on a team, in a clubhouse that's filled with veterans, guys who've been around for a decade plus, like Manny and Profar, but feels like everyone responds to this kid pretty well. What are you seeing there?
Definitely, he's earned rightfully the respect. Toddy said it even in spring training, which I thought was a nice tip of the hat in early this season, especially as early as it was. He just said, the guy's a baller, man. You got to respect it. And ballers know ballers, and that's just how it works. And I would, leadership, he's able to rise the tide with his affection, with his play and his passion for play. He loves to compete, and he also knows how to compete, and he's got the skill set to match it. So, guys respect that. Jackson goes about it completely in the right way. He's got a tremendous amount of humility. He puts his head down. He goes and plays the game the right way. And that's really speaks volumes to our club. And it does have, the infectious energy brings, helps guys, I believe. But, just him being able to lead himself and make sure he's doing what he needs to do and goes about it in the right way. creates a lot of credit for the guys in the clubhouse.
Talking to the skipper Mike Shildt here on Ben and Woods this morning. I wanted to get just kind of a general baseball opinion from you about the six-man rotation, which, listen, I've seen teams employ it before. Don't know if you have in your career, in your previous stop, but, with Joe Musgrove coming back, assuming he stays healthy and everything else, is that something that you would consider doing? Why not? Pros and cons as you see him.
I have done it. It's all personnel-based. As you would expect, Joe is coming back. We have the personnel to be able to do it, but we also need to look up and recognize, some basic math, right? Like 6 starters, 7 relievers, and so we also, if we feel confident, which we do, we confident all our starters, but making sure they're going to be able to go deep and also keep our bullpen fresh. And the way our bullpen's constructed right now, we have a lot of high leverage guys, a lot of 1-inning guys. And so, and that's great. Our bullpen's we love our bullpen, obviously. But we're not structured right now for our bullpen to handle a 6-man rotation with 7 guys. And then you get guys out of their roles a little bit more. So, we've got a lot of games coming up, so it's, you go, okay, get the extra rest. We've been able to get Michael a blow here recently. We didn't want it necessarily, but, take it as a blessing, and that, he got the comebacker, and, he went 11 days in between starts, so that was kind of turned out to be a built-in blow for him. We've had days off recently, guys getting extra blows. Dylan, clearly we didn't want to lose him after an inning in the first game of the series recently, but that's going to turn out to be a blow for him. Joe's coming back. Feel like he's pretty fresh. He's going to need to get built up a little bit, which is going to require more bullpen. So a lot of different moving parts to it, but that's the big picture and the more specific reasons for what we're looking to do.
All right, got one more for you because I heard you talking about it after the game yesterday, and there's been kind of a joke among Padres fans the last, 20-plus years about Padres hitting coach being one of the least job security jobs you can have in baseball. So I think it's worth mentioning, talking about who Victor Rodriguez is and what he's done for your club. I wasn't aware that you kind of went back so far with him, and I heard you talking about Victor after the game, and I wanted to give a chance to kind of tell us a little bit more about your hitting coach and what he's brought to the table for your offense.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. I think number 1 is hitting coach, number 2 is manager, and that short lifespan of Padres staff members, which we'd love to change, both of us, for a long time. But go way back with Victor to 1980. Victor came up as a young player at 17 in Double-A, so he was on that, Ethan Salas kind of track in Double-A. Played second base for the team in Charlotte that won a Southern League championship. My mom was administrative assistant for that team with Francis Crockett, and Victor was our second baseman. I shined his shoes every day at home, and got a chance to meet him and spent a couple of years there in Charlotte, a couple stops on his journey to the big leagues. And, that group, including Victor, has stayed really close. That group of players that came through there, that staff, it was just a really cool group experience. It was a really tight-knit family. The players felt like they were well taken care of. They enjoyed their time in Charlotte. There's been multiple reunions of that team that won that championship that I've been able to be a part of. So I've known Victor a long time, had a lot of personal respect and a ton of professional respect. What he brings, this guy he's just got a beautiful way about him. He's got that common sense approach to something that's really hard. He's able to make something really hard simple, and that's hitting. He's able to connect with players. He's got a ton of experience personally, having done it, but also more so, professionally teaching and doing it. He's worked with some of the greatest hitters of, our generation and some historically when he was in Boston, having Manny Ramirez and Big Papi and Pedroia and of course we had Bogey over there as well for 10 years. And then he goes over to Cleveland with Jose Ramirez, who just donned him his 4th or 5th All-Star jersey out of respect for what he's done for him in his career. So Victor's just he's a real treasure, asset to the organization. He's done a tremendous job, and couldn't be more excited and blessed to have him on the staff.
You know, Mike, appreciate it. Hopefully a birthday dub for you guys tonight, and we'll talk to you next Friday when you're going to be back out on the road again already after a quick homestand against the Pirates next week. Good luck. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
There is Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres, our Manager's Report, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking. It is better.
Good comment in the chat. Shildt might have one of the coolest success stories on his path to being a major league manager. No doubt. There's no doubt about it.
His mom working in the minor leagues and him just getting in that way and doing every job possible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
To get through and rise the ranks to become the best manager Pittsburgh has ever seen in the history of baseball.
That winning percentage there is
insane.
insane. It's insane. That's a torrid
I had no
pace.
idea. They see Mike Shildt coming, and they're like, oh, no.
Oh,
He's
God.
back.
Yeah, he's
this
back.
guy's back.
He's like the Terminator of Pittsburgh. It's incredible.
Got some thoughts on what the skipper had to say. We'll react to that coming up next. Quick check of traffic. More Ben Woods coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I was impressed by Mike Shildt's ability to run down all 26 players on his roster, which deservedly so. We talked about it earlier today. They have really gotten contributions from everyone. It feels like it's a different guy every day that has stepped up. Whoever's day it is today, great, fantastic. But he mentioned them all for this past week.
Who are the two starters that didn't start the series?
Who are the two starters? Waldron.
Yep.
And Perez.
There you go. So those are the only two guys that didn't directly contribute to those 3 wins, and they'll get their turn this weekend against Miami.
And maybe Carl Edwards Jr., but we didn't mention him.
Yeah.
You don't need to kick a guy when he's down. That was a tough outing, obviously.
It
And by
was.
the way, I don't know if you saw this. I saw it in the UT notes. So Carl Edwards, who was kind of the emergency, they need an arm guy yesterday, woke up yesterday morning in Sugar Land, Texas at 4 a.m., had to drive to Houston to catch a 7:30 flight to Pittsburgh. He didn't even get to the game until the 2nd inning. And then by the 6th, he was in and trying to, stem the tide on a Pirates rally. Now, he didn't do it. He walked 2, gave up a hit, and it didn't work out. But he was a guy who was stretched out enough, whereas if Randy Vasquez had only gone 3 innings like he did in Baltimore recently, they could have thrown him out there for 3 or 4 innings without damaging the rest of their bullpen. They needed someone like that in the game, and they didn't. They had 5 relievers who were down, so they took their chances with Carl Edwards Jr. It didn't work out. I don't know that he'll still be on the team today or if they'll make another move and bring someone else up. I would suspect that they would. But they'll also have some of the guys who were down yesterday back available, like Hoeing and some of the other pitchers who had thrown a lot of innings. They were able to get a bunch of guys the day off yesterday, which will help them going into this series.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be like this, man. It's going, Carl Edwards Jr. That was a tough outing for him, man. I really did feel terrible for him. I was also, very angry in the moment that we couldn't get it out there. But yeah, you watch enough baseball, that stuff's going to happen. I was bummed for him. It was a really big out he needed to get, and he didn't get the job done. I don't know what that means for the future. Alec Jacob has pitched really, really well for this team, but he'd thrown a lot of pitches, and they thought it was the right decision. And I don't know.
Well, who else would it have been?
I don't know.
You have to send someone down.
Yeah, somebody's got to go.
He was one of the guys. He's got options. He's got options. He was unavailable. Now, technically, you can't bring him back right away unless someone goes on the injured list.
Correct.
Although someone always goes on the injured list at some point. So he'll have that opportunity. And remember, you still have Wandy Peralta on the injured list. I'm not sure when he's scheduled back, but you signed him to a 4-year deal. So, Wandy, they still expect to be a part of this bullpen going forward. As much as it's been improved since the trade deadline, he'll need a spot at some point. It's a crowded bullpen now.
It is.
If it weren't for the rain delay, we wouldn't be talking about any of this.
Yeah.
Cease probably would have pitched 7, 8, whatever, and they'd have a rested bullpen. Because of that rain delay, acts of God, things beyond your control, Padres were in a tight spot yesterday in that game, and somehow they still managed to win it. So there really aren't any complaints here.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's so above my pay grade on who comes up and who goes down, and whether it's the right decision or not. I mean, the time will tell, certainly. But you picked him up for a reason. Now you're gonna have to figure out what to do with him. Is he? You got to give him another shot, don't you? And if you have a 6-7 run lead, don't you need guys like that? You need guys that are able to eat those innings. And had he gone out and made a pitch, got a guy to roll over, goes out and eats a couple innings for you, yeah, it would have helped tremendously. They won the game, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. But it's like everything. You've seen these guys over the course of the season, Ben, earn their roles, and I think in some cases, I don't want to say lose their roles, but maybe go back to a different role. We've seen it happen. So they're going to be careful with how they handle all of these guys because, again, you don't want to burn everybody out before you get to October, but you still got to get there.
I know Yuki Matsui wants to work his way back into more, higher leverage roles, and he got that big out to end the 6th, and then, of course, gave up the home run. And I think, the collective memory of Padres fans may be a little weak here. I saw a lot of, Yuki, another home run. I think he's only given up like 3 all year. He's not a home run dispenser. His ERA is like 3.4. And while he's had a couple of moments where he's given up in important spots, runs that have hurt the Padres this year, I'm not gonna say that he hasn't. There are 29 other teams that would happily take a Yuki Matsui in their bullpen right now.
No doubt.
They would. So I'm not even gonna get that upset about what happened with Yuki Matsui in the 7th inning yesterday.
No.
It's baseball. You're not going to shut out every opponent all day, all night. Your bullpen will give up some runs. It's going to happen, and you got to find a way to win games. And the Padres are doing a great job of finding different ways to win games every single day. They also picked up some ground finally in the wild card race. The Philadelphia Phillies doing the Lord's work, beat the Dodgers twice, and now end the 4-game winning streak of the Arizona Diamondbacks yesterday with a 6-4 win last night. That was, by the way, the third time the Diamondbacks have won 4 in a row since the All-Star break. Wow. They've gone 4 wins, loss, 4 wins, loss, 4 wins, loss. Go ahead and don't start another 4-game winning streak today, if you would, Arizona. Padres now game up on Arizona for the first wild card spot, and 2.5 up now on the New York Mets, who are your new third wild card team. For the first time, the Atlanta Braves are no longer in possession of one of the playoff positions in the National League. The Mets got 2 home runs from Pete Alonso in a 9-1 win over the Rockies, while the Braves had a miserable series at home. They were routed by the Brewers 16-7, Milwaukee completing a 3-game sweep. And in that 3-game series, Woods, the Atlanta Braves pitching staff gave up 42 hits to the Milwaukee Brewers in 3 games.
Adam, as our resident Braves fan, what is going on with your team?
Don't do this.
So
it's simple injuries.
Oh,
yes.
We just said that's not an excuse,
No,
though.
it is for this team. Strider, Acuna, Albies, Michael Harris. I mean, the list goes on. Reynaldo Lopez is an all-star. He's on the IL. Goes on and on. Sean Murphy's missed 2/3 of the season.
Yeah.
I heard Brian Snitker may retire.
Wouldn't you?
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, after next season.
Season.
He may be close to done as well. But, I said it in the roundtable like 3 weeks ago that I'm
Max
not sure the
Fried
Braves
was
are going
on the IL. I mean,
Yeah.
injuries.
Injuries, you can say they're not an excuse, but they are absolutely.
It's not an excuse.
Well,
it's a reason.
It's a reason. It's an
Okay,
absolute
I like that.
reason why the Atlanta Braves aren't playing well.
It's lawyer speak, is what that is.
I mean, if I'm a Braves fan, I'm going, well, they're still just a half game out of a playoff spot, despite all these injuries, despite playing really poorly since the All-Star break. No reason, maybe they could start playing well again at some point. Now, they may get Albies back, but Acuna's done, Strider's done. They're not getting everybody back. The question is, do they have enough going forward? And then the Giants kind of won a wild one. They're still hanging on the fringes. They were playing the Nationals. Both teams scored 3 in the 9th to force a 10th inning, and then the Giants scored 4 in the top of the 10th and beat the Washington Nationals 9-5. So that's your playoff update in the National League postseason chase, which now sees the Padres alone on top of the National League wildcard standings. And remember, if it comes down to the Padres and Diamondbacks, right now they're tied. They've both won 5 games of their 10. There's 3 games left against Arizona. They're the last 3 at Chase Field in Phoenix to end the season. Winning that series could be huge because not only would it be a series win, but a season series win, whoever takes that one too.
God, I hope it doesn't come down to that.
That may end up being a huge series, whether it's for a playoff spot or a home field advantage, or even in a division race. If the Dodgers and Diamondbacks and Padres are all fighting for the division, that could be an unbelievable last 3 games.
And I think we should go to that.
I kind of do too.
I really do.
I mean,
Adam?
Now it may be meaningless as well. We don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
But it may be the biggest 3-game series the Padres have played in the regular season since they swept the Dodgers to end the 1996 season and win the division.
Just a short jaunt from here over to Arizona. I think we should probably make plans if it comes down to that.
That would be a weekend series.
Oh, it would?
Yeah, I believe it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday to end the season, if I'm not mistaken. So.
All right. Let's talk about it.
But yeah, that's a big one.
All
right,
late.
final segment.
Our boss is literally here.
Of Ben and Woods.
Got to be on time.
Coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. the week here with Ben and Woods and Adam Klug, a.k.a. Bald Reindl, because Paul Reindl is on his way to a bachelor party weekend in that Sin City mecca of Leavenworth, Washington.
You have to feel pretty good if you're Mrs. Reindl this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Vegas or Atlantic City.
Right. Or like Scottsdale.
Yeah,
or,
I mean,
really, anywhere where you can get in trouble. Leavenworth, Washington.
It sounds fairly tame up there.
It is a Bavarian town that is...
Pretzels and beer.
Yeah, a lot of...
Danishes and such.
A lot of Danish, which is where...
Sounds good to me, actually.
If I had a bachelor party now, I would pick Leavenworth.
So during the break, I asked Woods, well, with Paulie going to a bachelor party, I mean, what's the wildest bachelor party or weekend you've ever attended? And should I be asking you this on the air because of Paulie? And Woods gave the heaviest sigh and goes... Yeah, I guess I should probably share my bachelor party experiences. So I have no idea what.
Well, I mean, I can't get into great detail, but they've all been.
We need some detail.
I mean,
you can dance around it with the best of them. So I'm curious about Woods's number one bachelor party experience, and we will try to open that can of worms right after.
I don't want to, but
check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Pretty nice wrap-up for our morning commute. Just one problem to mention. Westbound 78 at Barham, we have reports of a stalled vehicle over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Adam and I, we're both looking at each other. No one invites us to bachelor parties because we're the people who try to keep the fun from getting too out of control. We're the responsible people who are like, hey, we should probably wrap it up, guys. And, hey, think about tomorrow. We got some plans. We want to make sure we're not fun bachelor party people. But you've had your wilder side. So spill it, Woods. Bachelor party Woods. What's the story?
Mine was
your bachelor party.
Train wreck.
Who planned it?
A couple of guys on our baseball team. And we planned it around our trip out to Arizona to play in the Adult Ball World Series. They call it the World Series. It's all teams from all over the country. It's really good competition. And I'm not kidding you when I say we had 25 guys in a mansion, a giant mansion in Scottsdale. It had a back house that had 10 beds. It had a huge master bedroom that they all gave me.
So this is designed for big party groups, essentially.
Huge pool, huge spread, and the whole team went out. I think everybody stayed at the house except for a couple of our older, married dudes. And, I mean, it was – we partied all night, every night, and then played 2 games a day, every day, and then would go party. It was – the drive home from Arizona was the most excruciating experience of my entire life. And when I showed up at home, Hannah looked at me. Now, we won the World Series, too, that year. We beat a really good team.
You couldn't have partied that hard if you still had the ability to play good baseball at the same time.
My guys were incredible. They were incredible and thrived in that environment, I think. But it was... We literally went out every single night. We were there for 4 nights. No breaks, no breathers. Everyone on a couple hours of sleep, going out, balling out, and playing some really good teams. There's a picture of me somewhere we went to a convenience store, and I was dead. I was dead. And there was the big walk-in ice cooler, and there's a picture of me in the ice cooler sitting on ice trying to just get my head right to go out and play a doubleheader that day. But it was incredible and so much fun. And, it was wild. It was as wild as anything I've ever been a part of.
But you mostly stayed at that mansion and didn't
No, we went out.
No, you did.
We went out every night.
Okay, so you went out.
Yeah, we went out every single night. Went to Bottled Blonde in Scottsdale, and we went there 3 nights in a row, and then we went another place. It was bananas, and everybody that was there, it was nuts. It was nuts. So I've done some Vegas ones that were out of control. It's not fun anymore. I just can't do it like I used to. If I got married again, which I don't think I will. I wouldn't do one.
Hannah? he loves you that much.
100%.
That he doesn't think he will get married again.
I mean, I don't think I will, right? But I wouldn't do it again. Did you have a bachelor party?
I did. I played golf.
Oh, boy.
Golf trip to Las Vegas. That's what
how many people?
I like doing. Just like four. My
Four
brother, my buddy Scott, who was my best man. Yeah, it was just like just a very small group.
Did you do one, Kluger?
I did. I went on a cruise.
With your buddies?
With my buddies.
Oh,
yeah.
that's fun.
So,
It's
you know,
like all
on a boat,
kinda-
drinking, going to the pool, went to a private island.
Private island?
It was a good time.
Oh, my wife is listening, and she's in the chat. She says, cool, Steven. What does that mean? I said I probably wouldn't get married again.
I think she wants to hear I'm definitely
The
not
word
getting
probably
married
is what
again.
did it.
Yeah. I think
What am
that was
I?
the-
I'm not. What am I? A fortune teller? I have no idea. She could leave me. It's not. It's not. I'm not. I don't hold all the cards here. She could walk out the door today.
And you want to at least have the option
Oh
of,
yeah,
maybe
of course.
finding love for a third time in your
Jax
life.
said, would have paid to be a fly on the wall at Ben's bachelor
No,
party.
you wouldn't.
Why? You would have fallen asleep. Out like a light.
Went out to sushi. It was delicious, and played golf and did a little gambling, and that was about it.
No, yeah, because you didn't. We took you to your very first adult
Right. I had
place.
never
You
been, so
didn't-
obviously I didn't do
You
it
were
on my
in
bachelor.
Vegas?
Yeah.
And you didn't go?
No.
On your bachelor party?
Nope.
Did you get drunk?
I had some sake for sure. Good amount of sake was consumed.
I'll be thinking for the rest of the day about the fly falling asleep at your bachelor party. Because he's so bored at your bachelor party, he just fell asleep. Why would you want to be a fly on the wall for that one?
That's definitely not the one you want to be a fly on the wall for.
How many guys were at yours, Adam?
Probably about 8, maybe 8 to 10.
Yeah, and Paulie's in it right now, man. He's still young. He's got friends getting married for the first time. Ben and I have friends getting married for the third time. It's an expensive proposition. If the more friends you have, the more expensive it gets. I mean, I remember, like, for my buddy Bobby, who is in Chicago, I had to plan the whole thing. And so I'm planning everything, and then calling us, hey, you got to pay me like $1,500 for this club and this dinner and all this. It's
What would drive me
expensive.
crazy, and why no one ever asked me to plan a bachelor party, is I'd know that you'd make all these plans, then they'd all be thrown out the window after you
See
go the
what
first
you
night
planned?
and you do too well. No, you party too hard the first night, and no one wants to get up for the fun activities that I plan the next morning.
I can't do it. I'm a one night guy.
Exactly.
That's it. I wouldn't. That's why I'd be the worst to take on a golf trip, because we go and we play golf when we got there. We'd party, and then we'd have these tea times, and be like, I'm not going.
See, when I go on golf trips, I want to play 36. So
Right.
I got to be pretty responsible the rest of the time.
I
to get out
probably
there.
would. I probably would do that now. Now we're planning a trip next year to go see the Padres on the road. Everybody's doing it. We never do it. We're going to do it as a show. We're going to go to Philly, and was getting some recommendations on places to stay and whatnot. But I think it will be a tame trip, because it'll be me, you, and Paulie, and it's business. It's kind of a business trip, even though our company's not paying for it. We're paying for it, but it's still kind of a business trip.
I'm there, so it's going to be a
And you're
tame
there.
trip.
It will be tame, but I want to eat some good food. Is there some golf we should play out there?
Yeah.
July
they have
in
some
Philadelphia?
really good courses in Pennsylvania.
I don't want like a
Absolutely.
2-hour drive or anything.
I mean, who knows what?
right.
There's 3 of us. Maybe there's a tier 1 who's got a good course in Philly that wants to play golf with us when we're out there.
Yeah, well, we're going in July, so the more tier 1s that are out there, that'd be amazing. So, yeah, Matt Strom will be a guest. Are you kidding? We'll be hanging with it. We're not working when we're there. We're going to go there and enjoy the game, maybe even 2 games. We don't know yet. I want to see Ben run up the stairs like Rocky, 1,000%. See the Liberty Bell. And but yeah, very, very excited for that next year. I'm starting to plan it ASAP.
All right, so Ben apparently does not like bachelor parties that much, but Ben does like a whole lot of other things. Let's wrap up the week. Adam, if you would, please.
I like good, juicy, sweet strawberries.
I like a good marching band. I like a good thin pancake.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
I like a barbecue chicken pizza. I really like those seeds. I like a midnight buffet. I kind of like the smell of soft scrub. I like more of a small derriere. I like cake.
I like Ed Sheeran.
I like both a hamburger and a cheeseburger. I like clocks. I like how I've kind of set up my life. I like grasshopper pie.
Oh, no, I like it creamy. I like good, firm banana.
I like just looking out at the sea. I like eating.
I like moist.
I like curry.
I like big butts.
I like fried Brussels sprouts. I like more of a firm filling. I like corn.
I like Nordstrom. I do like musicals.
I like pepperoni. I like nice hotels. I like Nick getting a start today. I like nuts. I like Steph Curry. I like that song.
I like Squirt.
I like sake. I like San Diego State.
I like Straight Up, Paula Abdul.
I like the beef and broccoli. I like to mix it up. I like Science Experiments. I like that song. I like the crispiness of the waffle. I really like cheese. I like the little lunch meat. I like very straight lines. I like cannelloni. I like a well-crafted headline. I like brown sugar. I like maps. I'll say I like Justin Turner.
I like going to golf games. I like diving into chores.
I like sugar.
I do like Butterfinger. I like blue and silver are not bad colors. I like the time change. I like Major League Baseball's new rule. I like the radio. I like geography. I like the knuckle method. I like Skippy. And I like pie. I like Bob Melvin. I really do. I like Jace Tingler, too. I like this day. I like being right. I still do like movie scores. I like good food. I like maps. I like when interviews can turn into organic conversation. I do like a Stouffer's French bread pizza. I like having the wind go through my hair. I think I like shows that the characters have an arc. I like the full lettuce, tomato, onion experience as well. I like those kind of burgers. I like the big overflowing bag of fries. I like those little Smarties rolls. I liked what I saw from Seth Lugo. I liked his competitive fire. I like walking around between the different lands. Steve Kerr, though, I like that. I like living on the coast. I like watching Tiger still. I like the idea of that matchup. I liked what I saw in the preseason. I like the aloneness sometimes of Texas Hold'em. I like watching San Diego State basketball. I like those cashew buttered cashews. I like cold, clear sake. I like a lot of things. I like Chick-fil-A sauce. I just like rankings. I like Steve Winwood. I like Pie Gal Poker. I like to be informed on subjects. I like Chicago. I like Tom Petty. I like the idea of another left-handed bat in the lineup for sure. I do like a good Matt Damon film. I like being on the same page. I like broccoli. I like Brussels sprouts. I like a lot of things. I like this shirt. I like Wipeout. I liked my omelet. I like San Diego State at home. I like when a baseball player can be more than just a baseball player. I like vanilla. I like the atmosphere. I like the felt on a poker table, just kind of how it feels under your fingers when you're there. I like rhubarb pie. I like the window seat. Changing the subject. I like that. I like just the standard yellow peep. I like how San Diego State's playing right now. I like finer things. I like calling a game. I like fiction more than nonfiction, just like the cream. I actually like playing golf with other people. I've liked everything I've seen so far from Mike Shildt. I like Mexican food. I like just the solar system. I do like steak. I like specifics. I like going to 7 Mile Casino during the day. I like that people are there having a good time. I like my new eating schedule. I liked what I was eating. Yeah, I like the variety of the menu at Sammy's. I do like a good midnight buffet.
It never gets old to me. It just never, it always makes me laugh.
All right, where's the Rally Roach?
Rally Roach is here.
I need to give it a kiss for the weekend.
Yep.
3 games. Mwah. Adam, would you like to kiss the Roach?
Lick the
We got
Roach.
3 games in Miami. 4:10 today. I think it's 1:10 tomorrow and then 10:35 on Sunday. So some
Perfect.
earlier baseball here this weekend for you here on 97.3 The Fan. And yeah, I mean, never going to complain about a series win, but anything less than a sweep, and we're going to feel like probably gave one away.
Gave one away.
Against Skip Schumacher's Miami Marlins. They will play.
They will play
hard,
tough. Yeah, they will.
For Skip. I know that. They don't have a lot of talent, and I don't think he'd actually even be that offended if he heard me say that.
No,
But they will play hard for him.
They traded it all
Yeah,
away.
they did.
Everybody.
We have some of it.
We have
Other
some of
teams
it.
have some of it,
100%.
but they don't have any of it left.
Right.
But they'll play
again,
hard.
They will play hard, but again, we talk about it all the time. The guys that are playing right now for Miami, Ben, they're playing for jobs. They're playing to get noticed. They're playing to get traded. They're playing to be big leaguers.
They've beaten teams since the trade deadline. Not more than a few of them. So
yep,
Padres will have to come as well as they've played the last couple of weeks.
No
to keep
let
it
off.
going.
Yep.
All right, that is it for us. Annie and
lit up.
Elston are coming up next. Adam, have a great weekend. Thanks for sitting in. We'll have Italian Paul on Monday, and then
Kluger.
Real
Thank
Paul
you.
back on Tuesday. For Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great weekend from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.